This is really the Fighter and the Kid.
Come on, baby. We got Mike Catherwood here, and we're having a very
Austin resident.
That's
here.
right, sir.
You came here before the whole move.
I did
came
come
here before it was cool.
Before it was cool, and I wish I could say like I had some idea that it was gonna be cool. My wife was like, we're moving.
You brought us eggs.
I did bring you eggs.
From your guinea fowl or chickens.
These are from chickens. These are from chickens.
Guinea fowl don't lay eggs, or they do?
They do, and they're delicious. I like them, but they're very similar to like a duck egg or something, where they're very rich, and the shells are hard as shit.
So duck eggs are rich.
And I like duck eggs, but they're a much more like strong taste.
Did you move out to Texas for the farm life? Because you're like proper farm life.
Oh well, yeah, I live on a farm.
Big change.
I don't live on like wellness influencer farm. I live on a farm. I'm a farmer. Yeah,
I gotta come. I gotta come to your house. I want to see this.
Yeah, me too.
You guys are always. I think I've invited you 10,000 times. So
how far away is it from here?
Yeah, how long? Did it take
20 minutes maybe.
Everything's about 20 minutes.
Bro, let's go to his house and just get up
and
let's get up in the farm. Maybe we bang a couple of sheep.
No, I need to talk to my man Chin over here because you guys and this studio are perfectly between my farm and my daughter's school. Like you couldn't be more equidistant. So I need to figure out a way so that you guys can help me work and get a job and do stuff.
You getting a little stir crazy just doing jiu-jitsu and working a farm?
No, I mean I got to be honest. Like I talk into microphones for it's my only skill, and I'm tired of not doing it like well because I'm not going to be like that guy talking into a Bluetooth mic at my house anymore because I don't have a studio. I don't have friends.
Is there that many opportunity in Austin as far as radio goes?
Radio, there's literally none. In fact, the radio jobs I've been marinating on are all out of LA and New York. But they'll like we have 10 studios and all like Austin local radio, which is quite good when I've listened to it. There's no opportunity, but there's insane. I mean, this is the Dubai of podcasting and content creation because like everyone around here is doing that. You know,
it's true.
I'm not like.
But
I'm not in that world, you know.
But you contemplated this before you moved, right? Like you're coming to Texas, you're on a farm. Obviously, it's a far cry from LA as far as entertainment.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't think it was necessarily the best idea, but I did it anyway.
I get it.
I thought this is definitely what's best for my family and our well-being overall. And my daughter's going to go to school without having people messing with her, and I'm going to raise my kid around like
normal people.
Animals that she can help me rear and get to know death and life and the beauty of growth. I said, there's so much there. This is probably shooting myself in the foot career-wise though. Yeah.
But your wife's an actress, right?
My wife's an actor.
So that makes it even.
And let's like, I'd love to say like, well, my male ego allowed me to take a step back. The reality was like, I looked at it, I was like, okay, financially I'll survive because I'm very lucky. My wife's successful and a working actor, but at the same time, there was something that comes with, aside from the finance, of like, I was never good at shit. You know, I didn't grow up like it's someone who was like, had this wealth of, and I found radio and people who were good, really good at, everyone says is really good at radio, told me you're doing a good job. And it meant so fucking much to me that it was very hard to kind of make that.
You found your niche.
Yeah.
How long did it take you till you moved here where you realized that it's gonna be tough to get back in radio?
When he was on a farm
today,
nearly immediately.
I was picking up cow shit.
Yeah. Nearly immediately, and then I thought I was like, hey, you know, at the time it's 2021 or something. Maybe terrestrial radio isn't like the best choice anyway. Like I should start thinking about.
It's kind of going out.
And I realized like
it's like investing in a blockbuster.
The stuff that carries over to being great in kind of the digital world isn't necessarily the same thing. Sure, there's some transfer. It's like, let's say if you were a WBA champion and you wanted to get into MMA, is there some crossover? Sure, but it's not like plug and play. Like just because you're a great boxer, you're going to be a great MMA fighter. It's not necessarily true. There's it's a kind of a different beast, you know?
I don't know. How about that AI shit I was sending you, those videos?
That your nephew
My
made?
nephew made, yeah.
It's good.
It's like I just don't know what to expect from
You won't
the
shut
future.
up about AI, huh?
Yeah, but I don't think anybody should shut up about AI because AI is very interested in us. Like AI is gonna change this business. Like I think in a way that we don't even realize. I think it's gonna be so disruptive. It's more disruptive than literally anything.
But it's only gonna be. I agree with you completely. And look, it's not like I'm David Mamet or something, who's like this Hollywood mega guy. But I just don't think, like the other day, okay, here's what I mean. I think it's going to obviously create content, and it's going to keep a lot of people on their toes, and it's going to take a lot of people out of maybe necessarily working in certain ways. Because it can create content, it can create it easily. It's going to affect business, no doubt about it. But AI made this Nirvana song the other day. Like it isn't a song that they wrote and Kurt and everything. They put all Nirvana's music into AI, and then they said, make a new song.
Was it lit?
And it was good. And it was kind of crazy how similar it sounded to Kurt Cobain's voice and kind of Dave's style of drumming, but it wasn't good. It wasn't a Nirvana song.
And that's the thing.
Saying?
Here's what I think AI is going to be used as. I'll give you an example. I came up, my nephew actually came up with a really good idea for a commercial for a luggage brand.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
And then he said, I think I can. So you come up with the idea. It's a man and a woman in bed. And they're discussing something. You think they're discussing sex, they're actually discussing the bag. So
that's funny.
How
old's this kid?
He's unbelievable. He's 24. He's so fucking talented. I didn't realize it. He's like amazing. But what I'm saying is that, so I would have to hire a director, lighting, set design, rent a place, cast actors. He goes, let me just do something. He goes on Sora, Gemini 2.0, and another app. And these two actors who are AI generated, not even real, and they're doing the whole thing. And I went, well, but that's what
we talked about.
But they're also just as good as any. They're perfect.
That's a good thing.
They're good actors.
But that's a good thing.
It cost me nothing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
I can just do that and send it. Now, what does that do about the whole industry? When I say the actors are great, I want somebody who's fat. Just make them fat. Like, just make him fat. He had me coming down as the man, as this dragon, the man dragon. It was a dragon. I go, can you make, this is what I say to him. I go, it looks awesome. Can you make the dragon fat? And when he lands, he kind of fucking just dies because he's so fat. And he goes, yeah. A half hour later, there's a giant fat dragon. Like, no, my God, no, the man dragon. And boom, and it just lands. It goes boom and bounces and then lands again. And it just goes boom and breaks its neck and kind of falls in the dust. And I was like, you did that? And he goes, yeah, I just prompted. Like, that would have caused, that special effect 1 year ago would have been, because I priced it out, that would have been another 10 grand.
But I don't think, okay, you're right. And
more than that, actually.
There's 10,000 people in SAG right now that are like, I'm going to be out of work. But at the same time, I was watching the original Star Wars, like maybe 6 months ago with my daughter. And
you think it holds up?
Yeah.
I tried showing my son.
The story holds up.
Shit out of my
the story holds up.
He's like, this is so boring. He's 5. But
yeah, but five, honestly, probably because he can't.
He's like, where's Darth Vader, dude? Just fast forward to Darth Vader.
Full disclosure, I was never into the Star Wars stuff. But
I'm not like a guy who's going to get into the lore.
Yeah, you are.
But what I was is I was looking at how chilling it was the first time Darth Vader enters, and they're running. The guys rebels are running. They're like, fuck, open the thing, and he just quietly opens up the lightsaber, and the lighting and the special effects in 1977 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Because they worked so hard. They didn't have the technology.
Yes.
They worked so hard to achieve that practically. It transcends what a computer.
Brother, have you seen that remixed with AI?
With For Whom the Bell Tolls with Metallica?
Bro,
I got goosebumps. It almost came. I almost came.
Oh, buddy. Jen, look this up. Darth Vader.
For Whom the Bell Tolls Metallica.
And they play that song over it when he comes out. Like, you see his red saber go zoom. It's all
I don't know this.
Callan, you can't believe how
it's one of the top
amazing.
5 songs of all time. But then with Darth Vader, it fucking
I don't know.
slaps. And you don't have to be a Darth Vader or Star Wars fan.
Yeah, you really don't. Right, there you go. Right there.
Watch this. So this isn't the real one, Callan. This is with the song. Have you seen this case?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get goosebumps.
He just wrecks them.
Just wrecks their
Just
world.
calmly.
Can you imagine if Star Wars added this?
Oh, dude. Like, look at that. Look at that special effects
That's
and everything.
pretty
Considering
badass.
that there's
How
no
badass is
CGI.
this part?
There's no CGI.
How dope is
Wow.
that?
Now, but like,
Wow.
you just think like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, like some of these Marvel movies, some of the Fast and Furious, it's amazing visually, but it's just a team of computers creating that. Yeah. When you watch that, you're like,
there's still going to be, you're still going to need quality. You're still going to need thought. You're still going to need human beings to be better at AI than the other guy who's better at AI. That's it.
AI
It's
would
just
be a tool. It's a tool.
There's AI, like you said, the actors were so good in what your nephew was creating. There's no AI Christian Bale. There's no AI Daniel Day-Lewis. That's not happening ever. It doesn't ever exist. You know, and that's
my friend said that too. He's a filmmaker, and he said there was like, first AI film. He goes, I know. He said something so interesting. He goes, oh yeah, it was really good. Did you feel anything? What'd you feel? Yeah. And I went, fuck. Yeah. And it's also like when you're doing commercials and you want to be sold to, nobody wants to be sold to. I definitely don't want to be sold to using AI. Now you've really alienated me.
Yeah.
Right. So you're treating me like what are you treating me like? Like you're going to program my mind? Fuck off.
But they're using those machines for car parts too.
Yeah, they are.
For what?
For like car parts.
Absolutely.
Fabrication is amazing.
When they looked at my veins, at my heart, right? So they look at the plaque buildup. You get to a certain age. They used AI. They used AI to look at everything, and they were like, "Fucking, you are."
Did you look at the doctor?
You're a cadaver.
They said you're a cadaver. You're immortal. It was pretty cool.
You are kind of immortal. Well, I was rolling jiu-jitsu with you the other day, like like a month ago. I'm like, you fuck. Like you really are like a 25-year-old guy.
Yeah.
Well, I feel
wiry.
Good. I feel good.
That thick.
I feel like they could just took a flashlight to your chest and saw the veins.
I do have a big. I showed them my balls the other day, and they were like, "What?" So yeah.
Yeah, those balls. Are
nice.
The
pieces.
I've been thinking about them ever since.
I was wearing sweats today when I was boxing, and I said to the guys, "Do these pants make my dick look fat?"
It's illegal. It's illegal because it's
heavy.
Yeah.
Heavy. Guys, let's take a little break.
Can we, dude? Because one thing about us, we like to be safe.
You want to be safe, and Simply Safe has AI-powered cameras. It's got an AI-powered system. You put it in your house. It'll come in a box. They send it to me in a box. You've got 24/7 live monitoring. They can see what's going on anywhere outside your house.
It's so good. And also, activity. How about no contracts, no hidden fees?
That's
the best home security system of 2025 by CNET. 4 million Americans trust Simply Safe. Ranked #1 in customer service by Newsweek and USA Today. 60-day money-back guarantee if you don't love it. All right, so if you want 50% off your new Simply Safe system with professional monitoring and your first month free, go to simplysafe.com/fighter. That's simplysafe.com/fighter. There's no safe like Simply Safe. Dude, I wear their yellow, like short shorts to the pool. You know, my mother-in-law and father-in-law staying with us. And I was like, yeah, these will work. They're fucking yellow. I just tossed them on, like in the water. My wife's like, you got to go change. I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, your whole dick, they got wet. We can see everything.
But wouldn't your wife kind of... That's the difference between men and women. If like my wife's labes were coming, I'd be like, yeah, okay.
I'd be like, that's sweet. I wouldn't say anything. I'm like, hell yeah.
We're good.
That's right.
We're good.
She was like, you have to go change.
Your body, you're a big obscene guy though. You're so juicy right now.
But my mother-in-law and father-in-law is there. My cock's out of the pool.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. It's uncomfortable because you're just.
Oh, and the kids were laughing so hard. They're laughing so hard.
Well, you're a giant.
And I hear Bostia 5 go, Dad has the hairiest wiener by far. Dad has the hairiest wiener. I'm like, hey, be cool, man. Be cool, really dog.
They can just see the hair matted against your body. That's attractive.
It's a funny thing you mentioned. You talked about feeling it, like can you feel something, and not to get too corny, but that is something like. Sometimes you can't almost put it into words. You
can't manufacture it.
Like I was watching, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie, it's beginning of his career, probably 15-year-old movie, 10-year-old movie called Half Nelson with Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
He plays a middle school teacher in a very low-income neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
And he's addicted to drugs.
Oh.
And it was so
good movie.
Spot on. That I was very upset. I had a very upset stomach, and I was tearing. I wasn't like, oh, but I was tearing, and I didn't notice it. I was like 20 minutes into me crying watching this movie, and I was like, oh my god, I'm that affected. It was almost visceral. My brain didn't.
Isn't that amazing though? Yeah. Like when you see movies like that, like Once We're Warriors. Do you remember that fucking movie? Yeah. You remember Whale Rider? Remember that?
I saw it like when
these are movies back in the day where they're old movies, but man, the hardest I ever cried in a movie was Year of the Dragon with Mickey Rourke when he goes to his wife's dead and that the Chinese guy goes to pay respects. That movie is fucking incredible. But the Chinese mafia, damn.
The hardest I've ever cried. It's funny. I was just thinking about movies that made me cry because some of them are embarrassing. But I remember the hardest I ever cried at a film, and it actually made it unenjoyable to watch it, even though the movie was so good, was seeing Saving Private Ryan in the theaters.
Yeah, I can't watch war movies.
It became a negative experience.
Really? Can't get enough.
I was so touched by it. It was a negative experience. I was like, this is awful, you know?
Yes, man, I can't.
Mine was Invincible.
Oh yeah, that's good.
That's
and
a great movie.
my football career just ended. Then that movie came out, and I went to it, and I was crying in the theater.
Oh man.
Oh man.
Well, because it's so personal, right? It's like, God.
Yeah.
Want to know? There's a couple that are embarrassing. Like I said, Coco, the animated film Coco.
My wife cries at that.
I still cry like a baby.
Really?
I've watched it 7 times. I cry every time.
Really?
Yep.
I never saw it.
The end of Rain Man, when I'm gonna cry talking about it, when Tom Cruise and Dustin Hoffman just touch heads.
Yeah.
Like they didn't break down crying and like, I love you, brother.
Yeah.
Dustin Hoffman's still kind of rambling incoherently.
Yeah.
And Tom Cruise, and he just touches
That's
heads.
a great fucking
and I
movie.
That's a good
cried
movie.
because it was so delicate. It was so real, you know?
Yeah. It's so real.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it's that. A lot of it's like not being able to express yourself, and you just kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember Empire of the Sun?
Oh, dude.
Dude.
That's when you got it. That's when
Fuck.
you knew Christian Bale was this shit.
Jesus, he was a kid.
He was a baby. Yeah.
Christian Bale is a kid, and Steven Spielberg, and that Japanese drill guy who was running the concentration camp, and just the last thing he says, he goes, difficult boy," and then he just goes and just takes off. Fuck,
Ben
man.
Stiller's in it.
There's a couple Schindler's List.
No.
There's a couple Schindler's List scenes where you're
John
like,
Malkovich is in
I'm
it.
good. I don't know if I need to watch that anymore.
It's a great movie though.
Oh, fucking achievement in art. is
Yeah.
Schindler's List. But there's definitely some moments where I was like, well, I'm good. I'm not gonna watch that again.
If you remember, that movie came out on Christmas.
Did it?
Yeah.
Well,
Schindler's
more importantly, around Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Schindler's List was hellish.
Yeah, I saw the theater. I think it was like 89, if I'm guessing correctly.
Yeah.
So I'm a
Look up
10-year-old
when
kid.
Schindler's
And
List was
my
released.
best friend's mom took us to see it. And I mean, I'll be very honest. Like I grew up in a very
No, what,
Oh,
when did-
I was a
when-
little
no,
older.
but what time of year did it get? What was the release date?
1993.
I remember I went to Passion of the Christ with my grandma, who was super religious, and
That's a
she
tough
was
one.
bawling.
even if you're
Rogan
not,
called
was
me.
like,
Rogan.
December 15th.
December 15th.
I remember my dad
there you
saw
go.
it the
Good
day
call,
after
Bubba.
Christmas and was so depressed.
Good call.
it's worse than you can think. And I don't mean obviously the Holocaust is worse, of course. Schindler's List, like how far they go, it's like, God, I don't know. This is uncomfortable.
Do you see Passion of the Christ? Rogan calls me and goes,
It's a real ass whooping.
he goes, do you see that Passion of the Christ? I go, no. I go, what did you think? He goes, it's watching the guy get the fuck kicked out of him for 2.5 hours.
Really, it's just an ass one for 2 hours. My
He was so
grandma's bawled.
confused.
Yeah.
He was so confused. He's like, what the fuck? It was back when he was just so aggro.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Would you guys see? God, I wish I could. I'm not even gonna remember the name. It was such a good movie. I can't even remember it. It came out like a year, maybe 2 years ago, and it was about one of the camps, I believe Auschwitz. But they don't show it. He's one of the commanders at Auschwitz or one of these camps, and he lives with his family right next to it. Okay.
Yes.
And the movie's about his family life,
Yes,
and like,
yes.
But in the background, you see like smokestacks, and
Yes.
you're screaming,
Yes.
and it's just.
What is that movie?
Did you see?
God,
Jo-
it was-
did you
it was
see-
so good. It was
did
so
you see-
worth it.
Did you see Jojo Rabbit?
I haven't. Oh, wait, no, I did. Yes, yeah, but 3 or 4 years with.
I didn't see that.
Scarlett Johansson's voice. It's
Yeah.
good,
It's about Hitler, right? Who?
but it's kind of comedy.
It's kind of comedy, but then also
It's a Hitler comedy.
But it isn't. It isn't. There's a heartfelt moment, like when his mom, because she was trying to help the Jews, and they find out, and they would hang all the Jews in the middle, and the little boy, since he's so small, he just sees shoes, and his mom had this special pair of shoes she always wore, and then he can't find his mom. He goes out there and just shows her shoes hanging. It's heavy.
Zone of interest.
Zone of
Thank
interest.
you, Chin. Thank you, guys.
Jesus Christ.
And I can't recommend that movie enough because I love that it made it about this commander's kind of
Like
his
a regular
personal
dude, yeah.
life,
Just
and
doing a job.
his professional life, and dealing with his wife, and
Yeah, different
But in
dimensions.
the background, you just see like
Yeah, different dimensions. Different dimensions.
Anything with World War II, I watch. I love it
When did you get interested in that, B?
because my grandpa, since I was a kid,
Oh, really?
he had all these Nazi.
My
medals
son's
and shit.
interested in World War II.
How old is he?
13.
Oh yeah, Finn is. I thought you were gonna say
Yeah.
like your 2-year-old. I'm like, that's a little early.
No.
That's a little early.
World War Like, let's wrap our heads like that happened.
Well, World War II is a continuation of World War I.
Right.
It's really considered the European Civil War, which was the destruction of old Europe, was started in 1914 and ended in 1945. And we have about literally 120 million graves to show for it. And
World War I is underhyped.
It's underhyped.
It was awful.
It was horrible.
It was
and
awful.
Nietzsche predicted it. Nietzsche said that now that you've killed the Christian God, the Judeo-Christian God, you will create your own gods, and Europe will be a slaughterhouse.
Well, and also like on a more basic, just like bro level, Germany was so fucked in 1917, 1918 from the fallout of the lead into World War I was bad to begin with, but then the fallout after that war, because that war was World War I made all other war look like
the most savage
baby
war.
shit, like the gas in the trench,
Yep.
and it's
gas.
it's horrific.
Just read about it. It's unreal. People were living with those dead bodies. They were just in the soil, and you were just there, and they couldn't get clean.
Did you see All Quiet on the Eastern Front? Bro.
Yeah.
And
Famous.
you when you do a remake of a movie like All Quiet on the Western Front, you think to yourself like, well, there's no way. Same with True Grit. When I went to see True Grit, the remake, I'm like, that was one of John Wayne's greatest achievements. There's no, and you see it and you're like, oh, you did better. You did better. It's amazing. World War I read this really interesting write-up about how organized crime, essentially, in America and the UK, like you're seeing with like the Peaky Blinders, those were real dudes. I mean, it's fictionalized, but that was based on real people.
Correct.
Yes.
It all grew out of the guys who were lucky enough or unlucky enough, depending on how you look at it, to survive World War I, then go back to where they came from. Were fucking crazy. And like these Al Capone era guys in Chicago and all over.
Jimmy Burke's dad, grandfather, he had been burned by nerve gas. So his whole face on this side, and he was a member of the White Hand Gang. He was a straight up gangster boxer. And he came back. Yeah, he came back. His uncle came back. They just slipped right into the
You look at the motorcycle gangs after Vietnam. Same thing. Just wild boys. You're like, what the fuck are we going to do? Get 9 to 5?
No, not now.
No, we're all going to partner up and fucking do our thing.
Especially if you already start out as a bit of a killer, now it's like, well, this is the world. And if you think about it, for a lot of people, when you've only been immersed in the dog-eat-dog murderous world, there's certain parts of the world where you get, the world is, if you're a certain ethnic minority or whatever, you realize people want to kill you, they do kill you, and might is the only way to stay alive is to be strong and crafty as fuck. So you got to embrace the angels of your darker nature, not the angels of your better nature, the angels of your darker nature, because life is always a fight and it ain't ever going to end. And if you think it is and you get relaxed, they're going to come for you. And so it changes your whole.
The gym I work at, they have this sign. I love the gym. It's such a meathead gym, but it's.
Is a new one you found?
Yeah.
You found a gym?
Yeah, did I ever?
Did you?
But it has these intense Did I ever? It has these intense banners, and they're all former military dudes, like meatheads, and then it has this old school cannon. It says, "Try to take our guns." And I'm like, "That's intense." I'm like lifting. I'm like, that's intense. And I was thinking, have they ever tried to take our guns?
No.
Can we relax a little bit, Texas?
Yeah. Well,
you can and you can't.
Yeah.
Because Texas people have a Texas thing, and I love. I mean, I'm saying this positively, but you got to remember, it's the only state was ever its own country.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
And people here really.
Right.
I grew up in California, and I'm 46. I probably lived 41 years of my life in California. In 4 or 5 years of living in Texas, I've seen 4,000% more Texas flags in 4 years than I ever saw California flags in my whole life.
100%.
People love Texas here in Texas, and I frankly think that's kind of cool.
Me too.
There is a Texas culture that I appreciate.
Oh, on the last episode, I was like, we need good recommendations for barbecue. I got, I don't know, hundreds from local Texans.
So
Did you get any dudes in Memphis though that were like, You're not going to get any good barbecue there because your barbecue sucks.
I didn't get one. No,
or Kansas City too.
Of course, everybody gets all fucking competitive.
I kind of like it. It's funny. You know, it's non-threatening stuff to keep.
But they all break it down like Franklin's too busy, too long of a line. Don't do that. Terry Black's too famous now. Food quality's down. You got to go to, and it's this little like remote place.
Interstellar, Cedar Park, which is pretty close to here. It's more my.
That's where my son's at right now.
Interstellar is very good.
How far away is Cedar Park from here?
What's that?
How far away is Cedar Park from here?
10, 15? It's right across the Mississippi.
Because
Colorado River.
I usually take a helicopter, so
I understand.
I went there this morning.
You with Shane Steiner, right?
all the time.
Shane's my boy. I like Shane a lot.
I love Shane.
I like Shane a lot.
He can roll too. He can do.
Shane hurts me.
He can do some jiu-jitsu. That fucker can smash.
Interstellar's the move.
Do you get
Interstellar's a fantastic. I recommend it very much, and I think you guys would enjoy it very much. Because another thing I like about Interstellar is, of course, brisket, ribs. You get your basics, but they also have they'll be making like a random gumbo just to flex their muscles, and they make a lot of lamb too. I like lamb meat.
Family owned.
I'm not 100% in that. I want to go there.
I'm into
now,
that.
you roll with a bunch of people where jiu-jitsu is their job.
Yes.
Now, you're very good.
Jiu-jitsu is their job, or it's one of their main hobbies when they're not murdering people overseas.
That's right. That's right. It's like if they're not special force tier 1 operators, they're rolling in jiu-jitsu. You're a very good purple belt, very athletic guy.
Thank you, dude.
And you're rolling with some monsters. Mm-hmm. Have you roll? Tim Kennedy's a good time, right? He's fun to roll with. Have you ever gotten any kind of a position on him? Is he? No.
No, I've never. And when I have that fleeting moment, like the other day, I was rolling with him, and I was in half guard, and he went to pass and I locked up like a Kimura grip, and I thought I was going to do like this pass and escape from the bottom.
Sure.
And there was for a half a second, I'm like, I got this, and then he was somehow submitting me on my leg.
Yeah.
And I don't wait. How
are you a purple belt in gi or no gi?
I do both, but I received my purple belt under Tim and at Gracie Humaita. So I mean, I guess technically kind of both, but I think it's important for me to train in the gi as much as I can, but I enjoy no gi.
Have to.
I enjoy no gi more, and I'll be very honest with you because I'm a little jacked and I get sweaty and I can get away with it.
Yeah.
When I'm in gi, guys who are technically better than me, they just really wear me out. Yeah. Guys who are technically better than me in no gi, who are very many people I train with, I can at least survive a little longer because I got a little muscle and I get sweaty and I can last. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can pull out of stuff.
So I want to take a little break, guys, because if it comes to your hair, don't mess around. And I'll tell you what works.
You messed around.
Well, I messed around. But in 3 to 6 months, you can have, well, I don't know, hair, all right?
A full mane.
And it'll be sent to you. The pills will be sent to you in an unmarked package. You don't have to go to the doctor. You don't have to have an embarrassing consultation. You take a picture of your hair, your head, send it in. A health professional looks at it, and they send it back, and that's all you do. And then all of a sudden, you get your pills within the next 2 weeks.
Super simple and 100% online. No insurance is needed, and you get one low price, covers everything from treatments to ongoing care.
Yeah, you can get, by the way, chewables, oral spray, serum treatments, all of it.
They got all. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/fighter. That's HIMS.com/fighter for your personalized hair loss treatment options. hims.com/fighter.
Results vary based on studies of topical and oral minoxidil and finasteride. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
hims.com/fighter.
So better always to
your mechanics, your fundamentals, it should be in a gi. Yeah. No one should start no gi.
I agree. Because especially, and you see a lot of wrestlers.
Bad habits.
You see a lot of wrestlers who, if they can get good if you have a really good wrestling background, positionally, you're going to be better than most guys in jiu-jitsu.
Yes.
But submission-wise and defense-wise, working in the gi, it sharpens your blade. So because there's so many grips. Your guy you're going with, especially if he's better than you, has so many grips. He has so many ways to end the fight that you have to get really good and really high. I'm really aware of everything.
Gi, your IQ goes through the roof.
Really?
Yeah. I agree.
It's the proper way to learn. But everyone wants the fast track. So
and also, let's not kid ourselves. If you're Nicky Rod or if you're Gordon, if you're Jack and you're really good, you can fucking bludgeon in the no gi. You can just fucking smack and it makes it. Don't get me wrong. You can do it in gi, but it's hard.
You're 235 and like just technically brilliant,
There's something very primal too. Also about like not like feeling essentially naked in the no gi.
Have you rolled with Gordon Ryan?
I have not. I met the man and he was very nice to me, but I have a hard time. It's like it's very similar to the comedy scene and radio guys. Like if I'm like, I know the guys from the Legion of Skanks. Like Lewis has always been cool to me. I really like that. But then I'll talk to some guy who's like, oh fuck those guys. I'm like, guys, this is uncomfortable. You're very nice to me. Yeah, they're very nice to me. I don't want to get involved in all that. But I like the B team guys have been so cool to me. I like Nicky Rod a lot. But
those guys know that. They're not like, oh, you were talking to freaking Gordon Ryan.
Right. I just don't want. I mean, it's frankly, you're right. They do, and everyone's kind of mature about it. But at the same time, it gets uncomfortable,
I feel like Craig Jones is the jackal. He's the jester on the outside who's always.
He's so hard to dislike because he's so
funny.
You guys are comics. You guys know he's legitimately funny.
I told him that. I go, dude, you're so funny. He was showing me some of the shit he did. I was like, you're fucking funny, man.
But Australian accent, and I've talked to Jason Ellis about this too. Australian accent is like Boston accent. If you're funny or clever or a good shit talker, that accent. It turns it up a notch.
Turns it up a little.
Boston accent is such a good shit talking accent. Like it just sounds good.
Yeah, 100%.
But all those. But before we went live on air, we were talking about like why I do crazy horsepower stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
you two guys are the same.
Yeah, well, no, I was thinking like for most men, a lot of men who end up being successful or whatever. Like we need more constantly, more. Moderation is not, now you'll get an addiction. It might be women, it might be cars, it might be money, it might be whatever. But I think ultimately you have to come to terms with it, right? The engine is there and you've got to figure out, like you've got to say, why is this happening? Why do I want 1,300 horsepower versus 1,100 horsepower? Obviously it's ridiculous. It doesn't make a difference at all, even a little bit. But in your mind, it's like, but I want the 13.
It is. Look, there's the only thing I can compare it to, and it's the only one I have enough kind of behind the scenes knowledge about, and not because I'm so cool, but because growing up, being in LA radio, I became very friendly and being a lifelong season ticket holder to both Dodgers and Lakers. I'm not. My dad was. So, but by proxy. I was very interested, and then I got to be friends with the media, Lakers media and Dodgers media. So I would get a little bit behind the scenes. And a lot of great athletes have lore behind them, and you don't know how much of it is fairy tale. The stuff about Kobe, it's an understatement.
Yes.
He was, to the day he retired, the first one at practice and the last one to leave. And when people would be, he's yelling at them, you're a soft ass bitch.
Yeah. That's actually different.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
I disagree.
I know you do, but it's different. Being obsessed with cars or being obsessed with money, I think is different than being obsessed with being the best of all time at what you do.
Right.
It's actually a different consideration.
Sure.
Right. So it's like Kobe was so focused on actually having tangible, measurable results. That being, Kobe, you are the best of all time, whatever it might be at this. That level of mastery, trying to master something through repetition, through attention to detail, it'd be a little bit like saying, I want to be the greatest race car driver of all time. Being into more horsepower, regardless of its utility, because it's just there, wanting all the women, not just these two women over here or this one woman over here, whatever that was. That's a different impulse.
But they're cousins.
They're in
cousins. They're
it's
definitely
the same
Kobe
brain.
also
Yes.
had a ton of girlfriends. Kobe also, after he retired, was relentless and obsessed with creating animation and won a fucking Oscar.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you? What I think?
No.
This is
They are cousins.
They're closer than cousins.
What's the difference?
Maybe Kobe just redirected that insanity to one thing.
I think that level of
it's an
engine.
It's a disease you have inside you, and I don't mean a disease negative. It's like a gene you have, because what separates Trump from Warren Buffett? Warren Buffett's like, I achieved a lot. I worked really hard for it. I have a beautiful family. I'm comfortable here in Indiana, wherever he lives in, is Oklahoma. And he has this beautiful place. And he likes his Oldsmobile or whatever he drives. What is Trump thinking? He's like, I've made a beautiful life. I need to be a TV star. I'm going to be president twice. And no one's going to stop me. And if it drives me insane, if it drives thousands of people insane, so what? This is what's going to happen. Yeah. And I mean that as both a wow, it must be hard to have that, but at the same time, even this is not a partisan statement. Even if you're the biggest Trump hater in the world, if there was to be some global incident where the health and the well-being of the United States was at play, and Donald Trump flies over there and sits down with the world leader that's putting the United States in danger, you don't think it's going to be a good thing for us?
Well, so just so you guys know, I mean, I don't. The Washington Post. And Pam, the spokesman, correctly called this. When I saw it, I lost my mind. The Washington Post, because they're so fucking dumb, goes, the mysterious decline in fentanyl. Yeah. Hey, Washington Post. Hey, liars. Fucking liars. You editorial board know better than this because you're a bunch of liars. Scumbags. Pieces of shit. You guys know what happened. He went to Scheinbaum and they went to the cartels and said, listen, fuckos. What's going to happen is I'm going to declare you a terrorist organization. That means I can send the dark side. I can send the dark side to your country, and I don't need your permission. And if you think you want to take on the tier 1 operators in our military or the ground branch division of CIA, etc., and all those task forces, please tempt us. And they knew that Trump wasn't fucking around. And Scheinbaum had a different idea of how to deal with the cartels. The cartels know who Trump is. And the cartels knew exactly what that language was, which was, we will fucking bury you. Do you want to have a war? Because we'll give you a war.
Right.
And the Trump administration said to them, stop the human trafficking and stop the fentanyl right fucking now. That's the non-negotiable. And the cartels went, okay.
Yeah.
And that's why. And that's why.
But that's okay.
And that's why. So a little credit where it's deserved.
Much praise and serious compliment. This is a compliment to President of the United States, Trump. But this is similar to, I read the biography, finally finished it, took me forever, of Andrew Jackson, President Andrew Jackson. And Kobe Bryant, the story, if you've heard the story of at the most recent Olympics with the super team, and you're talking about Dwayne Wade, you're talking about LeBron.
In his prime.
Okay, you're not talking about, this is a collection of high achievers, high functioning dudes. And they said, he's fucking crazy. Game 1 against Spain, he goes, play as soon as I can, first play, I'm going to go right through Pau.
That's his best, that's his best friend.
I saw it.
And they're like, sure you are, Kobe. I mean, that's your best friend. He's like, no, seriously. And they're like, but why? He's like, I have to set it. He is my best friend. He's my teammate. But tonight, we're enemies. I have to set the tone. And they're thinking, okay, sure, Kobe, but fucking smack. And you can see Pau Gasol's face lying on the ground. Like, what the fuck? And Kobe just walks away. Like, I got to do it.
Trump's genius is letting people think he's crazy.
Do you know
he's unpredictable?
Do you know Andrew Jackson passes away?
Yeah.
Okay.
Explain to Brennan and the audience. Andrew Jackson was literally he had been shot, and he had a hole essentially in his torso. He had killed a lot of Native Americans, by the way. He wasn't exactly a politically correct president.
They did back
and he
then.
was the guy who came into the White House with mud on his boots. He was a real soldier and a real fucking badass. But explain.
He had a couple recorded duels with firearms.
Yes.
As president,
yes.
He was a war hero.
Bullet lodged near his heart and caused chronic pain for the rest of his life. He also narrowly escaped assassination attempt in 1835, just like Trump. Anyway.
What this is not, because like I said, I read his biography. It was... He had a bullet lodged like really close to his heart, very similar to President Reagan.
He had to let it like air out and pus out sometimes.
When they autopsied him, they found, I'm not exact. This is you could do. They found like 6 more bullets in his body that he just didn't tell people about. Okay, and then the best story about Andrew Jackson. There's so many good. He was the first Trump. The best story about Andrew Jackson is I don't know if anybody knows the Florida situation. So I believe Madison is president at the time. And they're negotiating Florida, the purchase of Florida, with Spain. And this is post-war. Andrew Jackson, who is a war hero and a general, still an active general, is down in Louisiana, Florida area. And he goes, I'll just kill everybody and take it. And Madison, you got to remember, this is pre-computers, pre-internet, pre-phone. So it takes like a horse-drawn or a train-drawn, and Madison's like, no, don't, dude. Seriously, he's like, I'm gonna take Florida.
He was a general, right?
And Madison's like, dude, seriously, I'm negotiating it. We're good. And there was too much of a delay, and he just took Florida. He's like, writes back to Madison. He's like, our Florida's ours. I killed everybody. And the Spanish went back to Spain. They're like, fuck this guy. I'm not going to fuck with him. He had like 12 soldiers. He's like, we're going to just kill everyone.
Yeah.
So Madison still has to end up paying for it because he's like, I don't want a global incident with Europe, but that was, he was just.
And when
like,
he got elected president, it was the first time that a president wasn't sort of a lawyer and a gentleman farmer.
He's a bro.
This was a fucking guy with,
he was a bro.
Literally mud on his boots. I mean, who just came in and he just would put his foot up on the fucking table and, drank heavily. And his friends, his fellow soldiers in the White House would be drinking and fucking getting it. Yeah, they'd be doing some shit.
I don't want to make this like I'm not Dan Carlin. I don't want to make it a history podcast, but another story that blew my mind, especially as a modern reader. He was particularly brutal to Native Americans, but so there was like it wasn't Sitting Bull, but it was a famous Native American presence. I forgot who it was, but he got a couple of Native American representatives and they went to Washington, D.C. and they're going to talk to the president because they can't tolerate this type of abuse anymore. So they get their greatest orator, their most respected representative, and President Jackson meets them at the steps of the White House and he says, please come on in. He comes in and the rest of the Native Americans stand and they're waiting. Hour or two goes by and the guy comes out crying, just hysterically crying. He's like, fuck, like this is bad. And they just went back.
Yeah,
and sure enough, it was cannon fire within a couple weeks.
Yeah, the Native Americans were not treated well, and the one thing about this country is like you can say whatever you want, but it was a brutal.
Oh, but
some say the best one.
There's no escaping brutality.
That's how it goes, man. What do you want to
building civilizations is full of brutality.
Yeah.
How brutal was it to the Irish? How brutal has it been to the Chinese? How brutal has it been
People
to
act like Americans
Italians?
are the most brutal.
It's true.
No, they won the fucking.
They were just better at violence.
But that's what they did back then, everywhere in the world.
Force doctrine. I've heard Andrew Wilson talk about this, and it opened my eyes to it. It's like, it's not pretty. It's actually kind of gross at times. But let's be realistic. Force doctrine is real. He who can swing the mighty stick oftentimes just takes control.
Of course. That's what so if you're not a nation state, the whole thing with Israel is they're like, we have to be a nation state. We cannot be a homeland. If we're a homeland, no one in the United Nations has to come to our defense. If you're a homeland, you're Chechnya. If you're a homeland, you're those countries. You're Kurdistan. Ask them how it's going. It didn't go. It didn't go very well because it's like they're on the border there and they just get fucking run over. So
shit is brutal. Everyone likes it. I love with like the when certain parts of Europe have people that are either visiting or are now Americans and they get critical. And I go like, how far back was it when you were Vikings?
Oh, dude.
When you just sailed from town to town, slaughtering everyone. Like everyone tries to point fingers as if.
Just
there you can escape it. I was like, all of our relatives were all savages.
Everyone.
The end.
Do you know who the first country in the history of the world was to eradicate and actually work towards getting rid of slavery worldwide? Britain.
The British Empire, who, by the way, you think about the British Empire and how dominant and at times torturous they were to people. Almost a century before anyone else even put idea to it. They not only tried to end slavery, lost like a couple thousand Brits. Fighting to end slavery.
Sailors on the open
there were parts of the Barbary Coast and parts of Africa where like no slaves, fuck off, and they staked their lives for it.
That's right.
And like
That's right.
Everyone likes to be all high and mighty.
Hard being a human.
The way it was.
Hard being a human.
You have some current events, Jed?
Yeah.
Is it warm in here as fuck?
Yeah, we're
Sure.
Okay, so
It's
we
Texas.
talked that.
I like the heat.
No.
AC.
We had them turn off
studio.
Yeah, you're getting a little moist.
Yeah, but the studio shouldn't be this way.
Good for your fucking legs.
No, so we had them.
those used to be long pants, huh? Cut them off mid-thigh?
I did.
There you go.
These
Cut them off right at mid-thigh.
Well, no, I did not. These were purchased by me
because
these are
Came ruffled.
same with these. Like they're a little fucked up, but
So they came as shorts. You bought them as shorts.
Yeah.
Because I bought them off of eBay. I buy a lot of clothes off of eBay because I'm a American-made only guy.
Yeah.
And when you're getting Vans, Converse, or Dickies, to get American-made versions of them, you often have to get them from 1982. So yeah.
It's what do you guys do for shorts around here? You don't want to look like a bum, but I need shorts.
Well, you just
You don't wear athletic shorts.
Yeah,
No. You know what you do?
No, there has to be some cool.
No,
shorts.
seriously. You see an Iron Claw?
What?
You seen the Iron Claw?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, those scenes where they're working on the farm and Zac Efron's jacked out of his mind.
Yeah.
Cut off jean
All
shorts
natural?
with cowboy boots.
Yeah, that's
It's
gangster.
gangster as fuck.
That's gangster.
Gangster shit.
jeans with cowboy boots.
Or jeans with like
That's-
work boots, jeans with like some Red Wings,
Also,
jean shorts.
Also, it means you can fuck me hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want.
But
Yeah.
let's be real. I think if Brendan all of a sudden decided to fuck our butts, he could.
That's
And we really
unfortunately-
couldn't stop him.
Unfortunately,
Without a
that is
firearm.
the truth.
Fact.
Without a firearm, our butts are
Unfortunately,
broken.
that is 100% the truth.
Big
That's why
brown
they,
broke
That's
butt.
why they invented guns.
One of the things about rolling jiu-jitsu
Is it to prevent sodomy?
Yes. One of the things
only
is so
reason.
true. The-
Some small guy was like, dude, we got to figure this out.
we were talking
We're
about this
sick of
before.
this
The
shit.
value of rolling or just being in a fight gym is that you're always reminded that there are men out there that can take your shitter from you.
Yeah.
They can just go, you know what? Today,
They've
I'm
chosen not
just
to, though.
not going to beat you up. I'm going to fuck you.
Yeah.
And you would go, no, dude, I go crazy. I get fucking crazy when people try to do that. And they'd go,
No.
I know you do. And you go ahead and get crazy.
But by the
Because
way,
Show me you're crazy.
show me you're
like
crazy.
the-
yeah,
tuck-
guys, you said it.
tuck your
Dude,
nuts
when I go
behind your
mental,
butt
when I
and
go
show me
mental,
crazy.
yeah.
the
Oh, I
shops
just
of the
see
world,
red.
the shops of the world too, who are technically advanced and then also athletic and big and strong. Like it's not even really hard.
You're not doing a fucking thing. One of the Eddie of 10th Planet Black Belt, who's my size. There was this giant guy, and I went, look at the size of him. And he's like, he goes, and you teach that guy something in 8 months. There's not a thing I can do. He was a high level black belt. It was like
Me and Ellis, it was like a lot of capable athletic guys that all got our ass kicked by Shane Carwin at the same time.
Oh,
Like, and don't get me wrong, it was a joke. It was a kind of a comedy thing. But there was like 6 men versus Shane Carwin. It wasn't even, he didn't even break a sweat.
nothing.
When
do.
was this? Shane
knocked Jason out with one
With
arm.
one arm behind, taped behind his back.
I don't know
By the way,
what- I don't-
his left hand was
I
free.
saw that.
I
And
told-
he's like
I told
a shitty
Jason-
jab. And Jason was like, oh.
I told Jason, it's not what you want, man.
no.
Yeah,
Is
you,
it-
you told him that. You were like, he's not fucking around. He's going to knock you out.
No, Shane doesn't
And
mess around.
Jason's strong.
Jason's a big,
thick.
strong, athletic, very
is.
gifted guy.
He is.
And I've also, Jason head kicked me once and almost knocked me out.
Compared to Shane Carwin?
No. But I think his point is like, Jason's not my size. Jason's a really
220.
sturdy, big
Good
guy.
220.
And Shane, like if you have there's video of it because it was in Ellis Mania. It was a shitty it
was a hook,
check
right?
hook, and Jason was like, oh.
Shane's enormous.
I mean, I would have told him, just park this here, bro. Park this here.
It wouldn't matter.
his wrists. I mean, you trained with the guy, right?
Yeah.
His wrists are like
Me and him.
you shake his hand and
we
you
didn't
get
have
the
anybody
sense of-
else.
He was your number one
Yeah, it was
training
just
partner.
me and him for years. For years.
And it's like a different thing. Like he's big and athletic. Shane, you shake his hand, you're like, you're not.
He's a
you're
different big.
Well, Shane picked me up one time. This is the first time I met you, and he squeezed me.
Don't.
And I was like, I tapped. He goes, "That's 30%, dude." Yeah. And I said to Nate Marquardt, I go, "Could he do that to you?" He goes, "If I let him, he could do that to me too." I went, "Oh."
Doesn't it bother you? I would imagine you got a paycheck for it. Doesn't it bother you? One in particular that comes out of my mind was this guy telling me to my face that Connor was a pussy for tapping to that torque choke that Khabib put on him.
Oh,
I was like,
Jesus.
I don't entertain it.
I was like, dude, his face is exploding.
Does
Like
he know-
he's
does
like,
he
no,
know
man,
what
you could
that-
just bite. I was like, you have
Who
no
said
idea.
this? Who
It
said
was a
that?
guy who has no idea what he's
That's
talking
why, that's why I don't watch fights with anybody.
You should have put him in that.
No, but okay. Let's say I did. Yeah, I'm bigger and probably like in the weight room
That would-
stronger
bug
than
each other.
what Khabib.
It doesn't matter. That
what
wouldn't do it
Khabib is
justice.
putting on your head like
Khabib-
that is. Oh my god!
Hey, fucking what the fuck's his name?
But we even, I won't say his name, we went over to your friend's house, we were watching a fight, and he was like, oh, but you gotta keep your hand up and do this. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
I gotta get out of here. You're an actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you,
I didn't know that the icy red guy. I thought that was a meme. I didn't know that was real life. And I was getting my oil change the other day. Not the other day. 6 months ago, I was getting my oil change, and the guy's like, "What do you got going on today?" He's nicest guy ever. So I feel bad, but I was like, I'm going to jiu-jitsu right after this, right down the street. He's like, oh yeah, man, I like that jiu-jitsu and MMA stuff. He's like, I don't need it though, because man, when time comes, I'll go crazy. And I was like, you're serious?
Will ya?
I don't need it.
I didn't.
Ben Askren put me in a bulldog choke. That thing he did to Robbie Lawler. He was showing it to me, and I was like, he just like did a little, and I was like, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeesh.
When you get ADCC level or like a professional, guys who get paychecks for it and they have that grappling strength and they know what angles to hit it at, it's terrifying.
You know who does know that though? A lot of pro athletes. A lot of pro athletes who are football players and stuff like that. They'll be like, they can see boxers and wrestlers. They know. They're like, yeah, that's a whole different thing. I don't.
If you know, you know. But I mean, okay.
If you're a regular guy. Regular guys don't understand how vulnerable they are. Just regular guys. Like did you play high school sports and you lift weights? And you think you're pretty, you know what, man, in a situation I've been,
I can't tell you how Crone Gracie at 140 pounds and could probably not bench press his weight, how much he throws me around like a bitch. Like how extraordinarily much he fucks me up without even really
breaking a
sweat. Like not. It's not.
That's crazy.
I hate even telling the story on there because people think he's a dick. He didn't even mean it as anything. But I remember one time when he was training for an MMA fight, and the old Crone Academy in Culver City had like a separation. There was like a mat, and there was an octagon for training for his MMA. And he was working, and I was just finishing class in a gi. And he was coming out, and he was on his phone like this. He's like, "You want to get some rounds? You want to get some training?" And I was like, "Oh, of course. If you ask me, I'll train as long as you want." And he was continuing to text people and got in guard like this, and then I couldn't break. And he was just texting people.
Wait, what?
And I was in his guard, and he was just fucking and I couldn't do anything.
Wait, what?
I'm serious. I'm being. He was like this, and he had me in guard, and and then he opened guard, and I couldn't escape. I really.
Like, thanks for the work, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, freak.
And then he finished through his phone and then submitted me.
Yeah.
And tapped me.
That's disconcerting.
But
he's not a big guy. He's a small guy.
Yeah, he's
so talented. Stupid talented.
Imagine Hickson's your dad.
Yeah, his dad's Hickson.
That's so weird. Like, imagine like your dad's a samurai. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's such a weird thing.
Let's take a little break because our boys Sugar Sean and Marab are at it again. The rematch goes down this Saturday, UFC 316, and get in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC. It's a huge night of fights, headlined by Marab and O'Malley. You got freaking who else? You got Pena. You got Kayla Harrison. You got some fun fights, man. And if you're new to DraftKings, dude, right now, new customers bet $5 to get 300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code FIGHTER. That's code FIGHTER for new customers to get 300 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5 buckaroos. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
This summer, Pluto TV is exploding with thousands of free movies. Summer of Cinema is here. Feel the explosive action all summer long with movies like Gladiator, Mission Impossible, Beverly Hills Cop, Good Burger, and Transformers: Dark of the Moon. Bring the action with you and stream for free from all your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
Legit samurai.
That is a fucking weird thing. You said that, though. You said he's as good as it gets.
Oh, my God. Yeah. But think they started jiu-jitsu when they're in fucking diapers.
Yeah, it's a language. It's such a deep language for them.
So whatever you're doing, they've seen it a million times.
And they started, a lot of kids now, especially, have started since they were very young, and they're so good. But that's in that family, in that part of that family, and like Hickson and that, like they're not only doing jujitsu since young. There's this code that they have to like Crone talks about.
It's a tradition.
Like Hickson wake him in the middle of the night to go fucking dude up.
Yeah.
you can't tell no one. I have to go. I have to fight. And you're like, what, Dad? You're
like I'm sleep. I'm 8.
Yeah.
That's your destiny. Your
And you see in those early pride fights, like Crone in like the Hicks and Gracie sweatsuit, like he's in the corner. He's like a 10-year-old, and you're like, Dad, you got it.
You just grew up around that world.
That
What's weird though is I remember when I got started, like, there's gonna be so many NFL athletes to cross over, but it hasn't come. Yeah. That wave of like this pop that these young kids are gonna be so good and this and that, it hasn't come.
I think fighting's different. I don't know.
Yes.
What do you mean? So you're saying
it just had the athletes?
You mean the crossover from NFL guys?
No, not that. Those guys are always gonna be there. I'm talking about they were like, well, UFC's getting so big, you're gonna get the athletes that would have went to NFL or MLB or NBA.
Maybe in 30 years. Maybe in 30. But that's the thing. Here's the deal. People have been saying that about soccer since I was 6. Like it's only a matter of time before this.
True.
And I go, no. And I've always been right. And there's a great American soccer player. Don't get me wrong. There's world-class American soccer players. But the difference is, if you're born in Italy, if you're born in outside of Paris, you grow up I like other sports. I want to be on Paris Saint-Germain. I want to be on AC Milan.
It's the pipeline.
If you're born in England, you're like, I'm going to be on fill in the blank, your favorite team. Yeah. You want to be on Manchester. That you grow up. If you're born in America, you may like soccer.
Baseball,
you want to be fucking LeBron. You dream of being Steph Curry. You dream of being in the NFL. You dream of playing baseball. That's it. And that'll not change.
I would also say that there is a difference. Europeans, that you watch a soccer game I was watching it with my brother-in-law, an hour and a half, and there were no scores. And it's like, it's a lot. It's
an elegant, beautiful sport. But to me, when you're talking about competition, and I love baseball. I love it. But when you're talking about competition and sport, there's nothing that compares to American football. No. Because what is competition? Down from chess all the way up to MMA, it is a sublimation of warfare. It's a sublimation of warfare. And nothing represents where you have a line protecting the quarterback, the general, who's delivering air attacks, ground attacks. Yep. There's an end zone. It is fucking beautiful.
It's so true, man.
Yeah, but I think, too, the reason we haven't seen this boom like everyone expected in MMA is if you're, like, have a crazy athletic big 9-year-old, I would never let him fight.
It's never, right?
So I think, and even if there's shitty parents out there, like, I don't really care, you're not going to sign him up for fighting at a young age. You're just not.
Yeah.
And if he's really athletic, you're like, the amount of money he can make playing baseball or football to get to college, it's being a stud in high school. Now they're giving scholarships to high school kids. So it's like, that's probably the path to go down.
No parent's
going to put their kid in.
I was talking to the boxer today who's really good. This guy, Coach Tiger, so fucking good. His dad owns the oldest boxing gym in Austin. He grew up. His mom was a world champion. And, he was saying, I was saying boxing is just so difficult. It's so hard. And it's also like really hard to do. Like you get hit. And he said, it's like wrestling. I go, it's not actually like wrestling. Wrestling's a nightmare. It's really, really hard. Don't get me wrong. It takes some incredible discipline and stuff. Boxing, you get hit in the head. You get your jaw right. You get all kinds of shit really fucks you up a little bit. Like the margin for error, you can't fuck up. When you fuck up, it really hurts.
Well, and also, even just the overall, the stakes of pain. But there's a darkness that comes with striking sports.
Yes.
And there's a reason why. And like you look at what wrestlers in particular, okay, the college system, the American kind of youth system of wrestling.
Olympics.
Is anything more, when we're talking pure effort, is anything more difficult than wrestling? I mean, it's just
wrestling's
so
the toughest discipline
hard.
out of anything in MMA.
Yeah.
What do you see with American boxing? American boxing in particular, you do not see a lot of kids from the suburbs, wealthy people who there's not a lot of like together households. Legendary since the beginning of time, when you go from Rocky Marciano all the way up to any American wrestler, it's always these kids who. Boxing was the thing that took them out of a guaranteed
It gets you out of hell. It gets you out of
There's no world champions out of Calabasas.
You're getting something that will save you. It will use your suffering as an asset, that is boxing. And maybe someday that'll change. There's parts of the world,
I don't think so.
but
I don't think so. I don't think it ever changed.
Now,
but also boxing's tough, but baseball's fucking tough. Football's tough, man.
It's all tough. It's skill-wise and hard to get there. I'm saying boxing, just getting punched in the face.
The pain.
Yeah.
But as far as skill wise,
sure.
No, skill wise, I will, and I'll go to the mat on this one. Baseball is the hardest.
Nightmare.
Baseball is the hardest sport.
Hitting that
Skill.
ball, right?
You will see some of the
Pitching,
greatest athletes in the world, and you could be a fat pile of shit. If you're good at baseball, you can throw heat. It doesn't. You could be the most jacked, lean, athletic, gifted. Your nervous system
won't cross over,
and you don't have it. You don't have it.
Yeah.
Something about baseball is so. I've watched so many people who are NFL football players, great. There's all this video. The UFC is so great about their promotional stuff. You watch, besides Stipe, who was actually quite a good baseball player, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's really good at
almost
Cleveland
professionally.
State. Yeah.
And besides that, you get them in the box. NFL football players. I mean, talking like tough, great athletes. You get them in the box against a major league pitcher, and they uncork a fastball. You're like, what? What are we doing here?
Wow.
This is This is bananas that you can hit this.
Wow.
It's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, it's. I've always said it's almost as much a skill as it is a sport, because it's one motion. You're throwing junk. You're throwing all different stuff, so it's very complicated. But it's one
explosive.
Yeah,
it's much like golf, where people they have a hard time seeing it because baseball isn't physically very hard. It's just so hard. And the sport itself is so hard.
I think this is the problem. Yeah. I think the problem is if you watch the Dodgers and you see whatever it's Kike or someone, at shortstop, or if it's Mookie Betts at third base, that ball's flying at 120 miles an hour. They make it look easy. So people are like, that looks easy. But if you go to a high school game or a college, they're not as skilled as those guys, you can see the effort it takes to turn a double players. The pros are so good. You go, oh, it's just a routine,
right?
And it's not.
It looks like a skill, but it's actually
it's what
like
you just did.
Your reflexes have to be so fast. You got to be so fast. Like just being a shortstop and catching those balls that come at you that fast. Boom! You just catch.
Well, you could be tough. You could be the toughest dude in the world, and a ball's coming at you at that velocity. You're like, and not gonna go. Get the fuck out! Most people would be like, all right, we'll go by me. I'm not gonna
coordination
to just sit and then to watch it in. Also, people who are really good at really difficult skills, they make it look easy, and that tricks us. Golf's a great example.
Yep.
Swimming's a great. If you watch a Olympic or a high level college swimmer, you watch them do it, and they're like, "Wow, you make that look so easy."
Yep.
Swimming annoys me though, but I know what you mean. Like swimming is annoying.
And I think fighting is like there's never going to be that surplus of athletes. It's just that it takes a special person. Like John Jones by all metrics isn't a great athlete. Like GSP wasn't a great athlete.
Right.
Nate Diaz ain't competing any other.
So what do you think that is then? Just the ability to deal with, like,
I don't know.
A mindset.
It's a choice. I think it's a choice, and like
it's a choice.
The Diaz brothers.
It's an upbringing.
The Diaz brothers are the perfect example to me, because I heard GSP talk about this one time. He said, "A lot of men they enjoy violence. They enjoy fighting. I do not. I get so nervous. I do not like the fight, but I chose it as my sport." And he's an athlete. He worked hard. He dieted. He had the great training camps in it. Some dudes are fighters. They don't give a fuck. Like George. I don't think George St. Pierre is going to be a 60-year-old guy like getting in parking lot fights.
No.
I could see Vanderlei and the Diaz brothers in walkers. They're like, "What'd you say, bitch? You talking fit? Fuck you!" With a blunt out their mouth. They'll fight you.
I know.
They love it. They like the idea of fighting.
It's a thing that you can't teach. There's no school you can go to.
Oof.
So in relation to that, you're not going to get this surplus of kids doing it. It's just not.
Also, it's hard. I heard Dorian Yates talking about bodybuilding too. It's bodybuilding the same thing. Bodybuilding is stupid. The idea of putting trunks on and having other grown adults.
Gay.
It is. It's also fucking relentlessly difficult. And you could say, "Oh, I lift weights." No. The diet, the sleep,
lifestyle is fucking.
Do you want to go to the game? Nope, I don't. I'm going to go to sleep at 7:30 and eat my 7 hour. I'm going to eat my 8th meal.
Brian Shaw told me that 4 hours of his day, 4 or 5 hours of his day, is spent chewing. Yeah. When he's in competition, I said, "Why don't you just drink protein shakes?" He goes, "There's something about chewing your food. You absorb the protein better," which I just found out. And so you're chewing, you're eating every 2 hours. He goes, one of the hardest things is just the amount of eating you have to do.
And they're literally sweating as they're eating, and they're just like, "I can't, I'm not," but they have, that is so
the discipline's wild,
fiercely difficult that it just,
wild.
I gotta start eating more. That's what I take from this whole fucking show.
And you got to get on the right gear.
Gotta get on the right gear. Are you doing anything?
No. I take TRT, but I don't.
You did or you do?
I do.
Oh, you do.
But I take, and this is 100% true story. I was talking to my friend who will remain nameless, and he gets a paycheck for being jacked. And I told him how much I'm taking, and he said, that's literally like a bikini competitor.
What are you taking?
I take like 70 milligrams a week. Of
0.7 total?
Of Cypionate, yeah.
That's very low. Very low.
Yeah. I mean, and I was taking 100 milligrams a week, which is a good baseline starting TRT dose.
Why'd you take it?
Because I would get my blood work done pretty frequently. I actually started.
Every guy's looking for an excuse.
No.
I was low.
I was never looking for an
No,
excuse.
but the thing is, most guys are like the average testosterone is down. I forget what the number is from the 60s. It's mind blowing.
Really?
That's why people are so fucking soft and out of shape.
Yeah.
And I don't think people talk about it's the plastics and the thing. I think the reality is that this is speculation, but I feel very strongly about this as someone who's very invested in health. In 1955, 1975, the overwhelming majority of American men were blue collar workers.
That's true.
It was rare.
Life was hard.
You
and
rarely
physical.
meet a guy who was an attorney or an accountant, and that was fine. But you did. But most guys swung hammers. Most guys worked on a railroad. Most guys did, or electricians. That was the majority of people, and you didn't have the luxury financial. It was very weird. Something happened about 15 years ago where, in order to eat an excess of food. If you were to be overweight in America, you had to be balling.
It's true.
For the history of America.
It's
Because
true,
most
man.
people didn't have the luxury of like, I'm still hungry.
Yeah. You're
but
right.
I have to stop.
My dad said like steak, like eating steak at his house was like a luxury. Like you didn't have steak, but also I think that most of us walk around, there isn't an existential threat to most men nowadays. Like you're not really going to die. We're so
you don't have to
comfortable.
have high testosterone.
Right.
Because you can jump in your Tesla.
Well, high testosterone is a fucking liability, isn't it? Right? Like
high testosterone?
yeah, like you have high testosterone, it's considered toxic. It's like a toxic.
Well, if you
juice.
listen to the betas.
No, but I'm
online.
saying a lot of boys are raised now, have been raised.
Not out here.
Don't roughhouse.
Not out here.
Yes.
No, but I'm saying
That's
most
true.
of
Not out
school,
here.
most of school in the United States has been boys have been raised by women. And for the most part, it's like you can't roughhouse, stop moving around, stop being restless, sit, be quiet, be gentle. They were raising boys like girls. There's been a lot of this. There's a book called The War on Boys, and fucking boys aren't like that. No. We need to get out there, be outside, sports, doing badass shit, fucking wrestling around, roughhousing, negotiating.
This says the research suggests that testosterone levels in men have been declining over the past several decades.
Yeah.
As this decline appears to be faster than what would be expected from aging alone. You just got a bunch of soft dudes with low testosterone.
It makes sense. And it makes it, but look, like also, like, is it worth it? The trade-off. Our lives are a lot safer and more comfortable than our grandparents. Yeah. Like, it just is. That's not open for debate.
Yeah, they had tougher lives.
And
sure.
they were in World War II.
Yeah. And
Korea, Vietnam.
I was thinking about it, but at the same time, and I'm not in any way saying that there's upside to this. But I'm not a guy who was a professional athlete in a dangerous way. I'm a lifelong civilian. I was never in military or law enforcement. Okay, but so what I have to pull reference from was that my life has been a cakewalk. I'm an American, and I grew up in a relatively affluent lifestyle. I didn't grow up struggling. You know, I wasn't a Rockefeller by any stretch, but I didn't struggle. I didn't know what struggle was.
Yep.
Right? So there's this 6-year period where I was a desperate drug addict. I'm spending most of my time around horrible men and women who are very dangerous people. And I'm teetering on life and death situations pretty frequently. It was a terrible thing to do. I would never want to wish that upon anybody. But I think I was a little bit closer to human.
It was good for you.
Than if I could figure out a way that wasn't unhealthy to kind of go back, because there was an excitement that came in my life that I do think was good for me. As a suburbanite,
in the long run,
kind of soft kid that I never went to war, and I've been in probably a half a dozen fights in my life and lost most of them, and I'm just not that guy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I also think like I don't want to wish that upon anyone. Again, it's not good. I'm not saying there was but the danger that was presented to me, I think, was within the boundary of something that's healthy, and if I could figure out a different way to do that, it would probably be a better thing.
Yep.
I street fight a lot. What do you got, Jen? All right, let's take a little break here. All right, I want to talk to you guys about O'Reilly Auto Parts.
First thing I looked for when I came to Texas, I said, I need my O'Reilly.
Got to get your O'Reilly,
They're
man.
all over this place.
Parts,
too.
you want it for battery, you want windshield wipers, they got you. And if
You
they
want
don't
them
have
for
it
the
in
staff.
store,
You
they'll
want them
get
for the
it. They got
staff.
it in stock.
Great staff.
Yep,
Great staff, man. Whether you're a
Friendly
car
staff.
expert or a rookie, the employees at O'Reilly Auto Parts are your one-stop shop. They're knowledgeable, helpful, best of all, super friendly, extra friendly in Texas. They'll tell you about a 20-minute story of their family. I'll take it. I'll take it. All you got to do is go to O'Reilly Auto Parts today, stop by, or visit them at O'Reilly.com/fighter. That's O'Reilly.com/fighter.
Current events. Okay, well, first, real quick, I want to say big props to Casey. He actually edited the first episode in Austin, which helped me a ton. It just helped me a ton out.
Casey's super Texan too. He's been here like literally 3
days.
3 days, and he just seems super Texan. How are you doing over there, Casey?
Well, I take to the air here like a fish in water.
Man,
I don't know what it is.
Your voice, your accent is actually thicker than it was on Monday. What's going on?
It's just something about it. It's this air. I can't pinpoint it, and guess what? I don't want to.
Well, I mean,
Handsome
dude,
kid.
you're,
want to.
Handsome
really
kid.
Texas right now, dude. It's crazy.
Casey's a handsome kid. Let's fuck his butt.
Hey,
Come on, guys. What?
Let's just do some current events, gang.
All right, God.
You said
go
he's
back to
handsome,
LA
but-
And he's
lose it,
so
man.
understated and modest
Oh,
too.
Chin, you spent yesterday avoiding my barbecue, but did you
not
find?
avoiding, man. There's so much stuff that we had to do.
No, I know.
Yeah.
We canceled. I cooked the food. But
Hey, we're going today, right?
Nah, it's my wife's over.
What?
Yeah,
My wife's over it.
Yeah, she was like, "Fuck this."
Oh, man.
She's like, "This is too tough."
Fine.
But did you find a place to live?
I saw 3 places, so one of them did stick out. So I'm gonna apply. I might apply for it, but I want to see one more when I come back next week.
Okay,
and then if that's the one, then I'll pick. I'm gonna pick it soon though.
Live at my place. Come live in my guest house.
You're the best. By the way, another shout out, dude. As soon as Mike found out that I was actually moving to Austin, he hit me up right away. He was like, "Dude, you need anything, any advice, whatever, just hit me up." So you're the best.
You're my boy, Chin.
Appreciate you. And you
don't-
gave me eggs,
I did bring you eggs.
Live on the farm.
dude.
fresh from my chickens.
These are so freaking cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Chin Chin?
First one. Remember that terrorist guy in Boulder?
Yeah, they're kicking him and his family
Egyptian.
out, right?
He's an Egyptian
Egyptian
guy
lava.
here on a tourist visa that was expired.
Get him out of here.
So remember we saw he had like a burn mark on his face? This is
Yeah.
video footage of how that happened. So this is when he was throwing one of those Molotov cocktails. See it?
Oh!
You got a little juice on him. That's him.
Yep.
Now in ICE custody, being processed
Oh,
for
no.
expedited deportation.
Mohammed's despicable actions will be prosecuted to the
She's so
fullest
hot.
extent of the law.
She's actually attractive.
But
What the
we're
hell?
also
she's-
investigating
Lock me up,
to
girl.
what extent his family knew about this horrific attack.
Chilling video shows what appears to be the moment the suspect threw a Molotov cocktail into a peaceful group of Jewish demonstrators.
Jesus Christ.
See, his face
What's
is
wrong
all-
with you, dude?
And later himself on fire, allegedly yelling "Free Palestine" at the crowd and injuring a dozen people before he was taken into custody. Authorities saying they recovered a weed sprayer backpack containing flammable liquid along with 16 unused Molotov cocktails. Solomon is an Egyptian national and was allegedly in the country illegally after overstaying
Get him out.
his visa. ABC News has learned he appeared to record pro-terror messages just hours before.
Yeah, so that's how he got that burn
I think
mark.
you'll have a hard time seeing details about this story on MSNBC.
What's your thought of he's got 5 kids. One wants to be a doctor here in this country. What are your thoughts on what to do with his family
gotta
if
get
they
him
didn't
out.
if they didn't know?
That sucks, dude. His kids, I mean, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
But that's the risk he took. He put his whole family in jeopardy.
Here's okay.
I would say so.
People get attached to that, but look at it from a different angle. If he had 5 kids and he was a PDF file, or he was a drug addict that committed his 7th felony, we'd find housing for those children. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not open.
That's my question.
People get so they're like, but you can't separate them. It's like, yeah, we can.
can.
And we do pretty
Case by
often.
case, yeah.
When guys are dangerous and gals are dangerous, you do that. you
Yeah,
know?
because there's a lot of things like get the kids out of here too. It's like, well, hold on. Like that guy might be a fucking tyrant.
But you got to set a standard. So,
Yeah.
so because he went to such extreme measures, like he knew by doing this, and hopefully it detracts others from doing this.
So-
hey, if you do this,
Yeah.
not only are you out, but your entire family, you fucking
Israel
moron.
started what Israel would do started in 2000, I think, in the second Intifada when Palestinians blew themselves up.
Yeah.
They would come and bulldoze Palestinian suicide bombers' families' home. They'd come in and bulldoze the whole home. So they sent a message saying, if you do this, your family's going to pay and they're going to lose their house.
Correct.
And it's pretty harsh, but
as it should be.
Yeah, but it's just if the family's here illegally anyway, then they got to go back anyway.
Can we send them to somewhere completely relevant, like random?
No,
just for let's send them. What if they go to New Zealand?
No, you never do that. You always send them back to their country of origin.
I know, but I'm saying what if we open up that program?
You can't because
like a farm system.
You'd have to have
like they go to Toronto.
Toronto's
what the fuck? Who are these guys? Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. They're cool, man.
Well, sometimes
the dad not so much, but the rest
sometimes
of them,
they can get custody. They're not going to see their dad again. Their dad's going away.
But again, is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. He's a fucking asshole who firebomb people, and you can't. My thing in this country is that what we have to realize. I'm sorry. Is that if you are in this country on a visa, if you are a guest in this country, you're not allowed to say anti-Western. Well, let's put it this way. If you say anti-Western, anti-American things, and you're advocating for the destruction of this country from within, maybe you shouldn't be in this fucking country. Like, your visa is a privilege. You're not a citizen.
Maybe you shouldn't, but to be fair, and you're a pretty well-traveled guy.
Yeah.
You're a worldly dude. Isn't what makes us I say no. Isn't what makes us the greatest country the fact that you can?
Yes, but I'll quote Eric.
Because even other very civilized, very advanced countries, you can get in serious trouble for saying shit. And I love America that you can. If you say, fuck the president, I hate this fucking government, fuck you guys.
I agree with that. But
if you're American, that's fine.
Here's the thing: the Secretary of State does reserve the right to revoke your visa if they consider you to be in any way a threat, right?
Well, there's a difference.
And so it does fall into this really constitutional thing. You have the right to free speech, regardless of whether or not you're a citizen or not, I believe, in this country. And it's a murky area. However, there is privileged status with a visa. And the powers that be that grant that visa can revoke that visa. They can decide that you are. So if you're that guy, Khalil Muhammad or whatever, he was disruptive on a campus. He was inciting people to disrupt everyday life on campus.
Sure, there's a difference. I mean,
but it's a murky thing, right? Yeah. It is complicated. It's like, hold on, because we do have free speech laws. It's a tough one.
But let's extrapolate what we even have within our personal freedoms. I think if you don't like someone, you have the freedom right in this country. Once you get into threats, once you start to threaten someone's safety with your words, that's a different story. And I think the same thing goes if you want to talk about how shitty America is, I think you should feel free to do that. That's how awesome our country is. Go ahead, talk about it. Once you start to threaten with your words the safety of Americans and American people. Then we get into...
It's very complicated because you're allowed to criticize our country. Eric Weinstein said the best thing I've ever heard about this. He says, the magic of the United States is you have the right to burn the flag. You have no interest in burning.
Yeah.
Because it's a great country. Yeah. So comparatively, I think people need to take a look. Does the United States have problems? Sure. Are we above criticism? Of course not. Should we be criticized? Of course. Should you be allowed to criticize your president, the administration, without paying a price for it? Of course. But I do think that if you're a guest in this country, I do think that's different. Sure. Douglas Murray said, if you're screaming Allahu Akbar on my streets and you're organizing, and you are in the London streets screaming Allahu Akbar, that's a war cry. It's a war cry, and I don't want you in my country. I sympathize with Charles Murray on that because, Douglas Murray, because in most of those cases, you've got people calling for Sharia law in England. They're calling for Islamic law.
When you talk about, though, here's my big problem, because I got to be honest, Douglas, who the fuck am I? I've never served in military. I've never been in government. I've never really traveled. The small amount that I've traveled to Muslim majority countries has been like this much. But I will say this. You're talking about tens of maybe hundreds of millions of Muslims around the globe. And the majority of them live in a way that you would not even necessarily know, even if they're devout, because the true practice of being Muslim isn't something that would call for most people to take recognition of it.
What is that noise?
It's AC. It kicks on for a little bit. It'll turn off. Don't worry.
But
Is that fucking us? Probably, right?
But as long as we acknowledge it, it's just AC for a little bit.
How's that?
Don't worry, we're gonna work
Sorry
this
about
out.
the noise.
We're gonna work it
guys.
out.
We're gonna work it out. It's our only our
Mike's
second
saying something
time.
important.
I just think that, when you're talking about what these men that Douglas Murray is taking note of is such a small fraction, and because their behavior and their rhetoric is so outside the lines of what most Muslims live and do, it's perfectly okay in my eyes to be like, yeah, these guys are fucking a little sketch. We should take notice. Maybe get a little bit more surveillance on the guys who are screaming war cries outside my front window,
Yeah, it's for me. I'd be like, hey, are you calling for you want to turn this into a violent thing? We can do that here.
Yeah.
We can do it. Don't fuck with the Brits and the Irish. You get them going, they will meet you halfway.
Yeah.
They'll fucking the indigenous Brits and the Irish come alive when it comes to war.
Thousands of years of being
Don't
bad
fuck
dudes.
around. Yeah.
Bad
What else you got, Chin?
Hey, Brennan, let's take a little break. Take a guess at what kind of shirt I'm wearing, and I'm gonna take a guess what kind of shirt
We're
you're wearing.
wearing the same brand.
True classic.
If you see me in a white
Always.
tee, it's the best of the best. It's true classic. And I miss our boy Ryan. We used to be right up the
Love that
freaking
guy.
hallway from the man.
Yep.
He came in before they were all big time. Now they're in Target. They're in freaking Costco. They're all over.
It's
It's the
unbelievable.
best gear on planet Earth.
Yeah.
We've been wearing True Classic for a hot second. You'll notice the difference the moment you put it on. Tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it, no bunching, no stiff fabric, no freaking BS.
It's a t-shirt you can rely on. That's the bottom line. Everybody has their favorite t-shirts, and the genius of True Classic was, hey, I'm going to design a t-shirt that guys are going to want to wear tight around the arms and shoulders, loose in the front, doesn't hang too high, too low. It's just, it's awesome.
Don't hang too high,
make you look great.
No midriffs.
No midriffs.
No, man.
No
Summer's
midriffs and
popping.
no past your fanny drifts.
Yep, summer's popping. They got great shorts. They got tees. They got everything, tanks. They got everything you need. Forget the overpriced designer stuff. True Classic is simply the best. Grab them at Target, Costco. Head on over to trueclassic.com/fighter. Get hooked up today. True Classic, the best in the biz.
Oh boy, guys!
I'll tell you what, we've been dragging ass, and it's because Chin booked some ridiculous transportation system that's not going to get our stuff here anytime soon. And I realize it's because we don't have Magic Mind.
Well, dude, I literally called them and I was like, I'm out of Max. My wife is addicted. I can't. That Magic Mind Max is what I live for. I don't even need coffee
Magic
anymore.
Mind, you know this. We only use Max here. Don't send any of the other stuff. Max only. It's a great nootropic.
It's cheaper than a cup of coffee. It's got great nootropic benefits, invokes a sense of flow, gives you mental clarity, decreases stress, helps you feel present, gets you into a flow state, takes away distractions.
Allows you to access your best creative self and allowing you to be calm in the chaos. It's Magic Mind, Max only here at Fire and the Kid.
That's right. It's awesome.
What else you got, Chad?
Next
B
one.
gets a little. B runs a little hot, and when
I
it gets
hate
a little
it.
hot,
Big boy.
he gets a little nauseous.
Big boy.
Yeah, his blood's thick.
So Trevor Bauer, who
this
we
is
had on the
great.
show.
Oh
this
yes.
is good. So a judge ordered his plaintiff, that stupid girl,
Yep.
Los Angeles Hill,
Scumbag.
to pay $300,000. But the thing is kind of, damages by default. I guess she didn't want to reply to anything that's going on. Probably didn't show up to court, so that's
Yeah.
why they're doing this.
She's a piece of shit.
She's a worthless piece of shit.
Yeah, she's
the
horrible.
ruined his
biggest
career.
piece of shit.
Well, and but listen, and it's hard because I knew a couple dudes who knew him. He's a
tough.
hard guy to like.
He's tough, yeah.
From what I understand.
I know,
But
I
at
know
the same
guys that
time,
played with him.
He didn't rape anybody.
He
And
didn't
that's
rape
been
anybody.
proven
He should still be
now.
in the league. But apparently, what I heard, I talked to someone that plays in the league, and they're like, the thing about Trevor, it's not his skill. He's terrible in the clubhouse. Like the rape stuff, obviously it's all false, and he's appealed that, and that comes out. There's no evidence of that. But apparently, in the clubhouse, he's a bit of a nightmare.
It's a cumulative effort. It's a cooperative effort. And how many bands have said the same? I mean, that guy was a gift. He was an amazing guitar. He sings like no other, but he's a fucking impossible to work with. I mean, his story is old as time,
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see him get on a team, though. That'd
Yeah,
be great.
I mean, I would love to see him pitch again. Although he is he is dangerously close to becoming Danny Powers now that he's down in Mexico.
Dude,
Like, have you seen video of him? He's like, "Fuck yeah,
He's talking-
fuck you,
yeah,
bitch!" to
yeah.
the benches. It's
He's talking
hysterical.
shit.
It's his. He'll
it's mic'd up.
get a strikeout, and immediately, I'm not exaggerating, Brian. He'll run screaming full screen. Fuck you!
Yeah, but get the fuck out of here.
Get
Yeah.
the fuck off my field,
Yeah.
pussy! You're like, oh,
What?
Yeah.
Really?
this is entertainment. That's real entertainment. Yeah.
Bring that up, Jim. Is that really true?
Trevor Bauer, Mexico, crazy. I mean, yeah. It's awesome.
Oh boy.
It's awesome.
I don't think it's helping him get
Kenny
back.
Powers, sorry, Kenny Powers.
It's not helping him get back in the league, though. Like, no one in the league watching.
No.
Yeah, we'll
Listen,
take that.
no one in the.
I think he knows that, though. And he's like, fuck it. They're never going to have me back anyway.
And no one in the league wants that, but I do, and it's selfish. It's like some of my favorite entertainers are people no one wants to have work anymore. But I go, yeah, but I love them.
It's 44 minutes.
It's 44 minutes of him.
That's hilarious.
Do you ever
Yeah,
see when you ever see when he pitched against those high school kids?
No.
And one kid goes yard on him.
One kid, what? One
Some
kid,
freak. He's some prospect because he was saying he can strike out anybody. And he has some young prospect, and the kid just goes fucking yard on him.
I see him.
Some young kid.
I see him make videos with the
man.
jacked Asian dude out in SoCal. I forgot his
Yeah.
name. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He a Korean fella, I believe, but he's jacked and he's like a tank. And he makes these YouTube videos like he throw gas, lift heavy or whatever. Hit tanks, and he'll make videos with that dude. And I'm like, this guy's bananas. This guy's genuinely.
Yeah, they're
he's
fine.
lost his rocker.
Trevor's entertaining. I like him.
But he is like, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Brian's probably worked with people. There's Faye Dunaway, from what I understand. Like, I mean, Oscar winner, amazing, beautiful.
My friend did her TV show.
She
She called herself the GIF.
yeah.
Well, what about the cunt from Snow White?
Oh yeah,
Jeff Dye said he had to work with her, and it was a disaster.
She's the worst.
Disaster.
Just a narcissist.
She wouldn't talk to anybody under her name on roll call.
a
And
narcissist.
shit. Yeah.
I've heard so many stories about certain actors and actresses, especially, that it's like, oof.
Yeah, I mean,
Ellen's a classic example of
It caught up with her.
It caught up with her. Like she's kind of just disappeared. It
She moved
destroyed
to
her.
England when Trump won.
Well, she moved to England because
Well, she was hated.
everybody was like, "Hey, you built a whole house on a false premise. Be kind, and you're a nightmare."
well, that's
to
what
work with.
I've always used Ellen as an example. It's like it's very peculiar if you really take the time to look at it. Chelsea Handler can kill puppies. And she'll be
I
fine.
love Chelsea.
You know why?
Chelsea's great.
Since she was like 19 and moved to Hollywood, she's like, I don't like you. I
She's been
don't want to
wild.
be your
She's
friend.
awesome.
Fuck you.
Chelsea's awesome. I
And
love
so
her.
David Letterman got caught banging an intern as a married man, and he went on the air that night. He's like, so that happened.
Yeah.
Hope we can get past this.
Yeah,
no
Tonight's
kidding.
guest is, and it was but because he never sold himself as being like super nice guy.
Yeah, Ellen, I remember they always say the two things you hear when you get to LA is two things that happen. You're going to get a parking ticket, and you hear a horrible story about Ellen. And you're like, what?
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone
had stories.
I had
Everyone.
a personal experience with her. It wasn't that extensive, but she was.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. Her and Portia were quite nice to me. I mean, but again, it was a minute and a half of my life where we kind of bumped elbows. But they were very nice to me.
By the way, when she was younger, she was a hell of a comic. I don't care what anybody
talented,
says.
yeah, for
yeah.
sure. She was.
Killer.
She was.
Oh, no,
a
she
boss.
had talent.
She was a boss
Talented,
bitch. Yeah.
talented.
She's made all the money in the world. I think she's fine.
There's those
I
people,
don't know.
right?
I don't know if you're fine. You know, I think that I think it's very hard to go from being somebody that America
Relevant.
likes to being sort of like exposed that way.
Yeah.
Well,
Because she just
is she that type
disappeared.
of person? I will tell you
I
right
mean,
now.
financially, she's fine.
All these guys who were like, I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I was like, I do. Like, I want people to like me. I would be very bothered if I knew a lot of people didn't like me. I would be very bothered by that.
Well, it depends how famous you get. You can't because you can't control it.
Sure,
You
but-
care what people that know you think about you.
I mean, I think you guys get hit hard. Stand-ups, I think, have the hardest to deal because people who literally don't even know you will start to say things about you as a person when they just aren't fans of your work, and that's ridiculous. What I meant, though, I guess, was some of these people, especially a lot of these like reality stars and rappers, I've noticed, like they genuinely don't seem to. And there's something very admirable about that. I don't know if I'm a puss or I'm like a mama's boy. Like I'm very concerned. I would like it if lots of people liked me. I would be very
I think
concerned
most
if
people in show business feel that way.
Yeah. I think most people want to be liked, but then they can't really control it.
Yeah, you can't.
Like, what are you gonna do?
That's, I guess, probably one of the trappings of being really famous.
Yes.
Yeah, or misunderstood.
What else you got, Chid?
Oh, Casey helped me find this video. So this is the Trevor Bauer one.
of the night, I had a message for their dugout.
He's Kenny Powers.
Rather than bitching about not getting fastballs. You! Well, that's the dugout! You! Oh, you!
I smoke all you.
Yelling at me. Fuck that, midget! Fuck you!
No, he's legit Kenny Powers.
Fuck you! Oh, I love it. Oh, he's fucking awesome.
I wonder if the rest of the team's like, Jesus Christ, dude, take it easy.
I loved when he was a Dodger. As a Dodger fan, I loved it.
Was he like that when he was a Dodger?
He
Absolutely.
was so good. Not to that degree, but he was a wild boy.
He's a Cy Young caliber pitcher at that time, but also, like, I have to assume, I know as a fan, I'm pumped when he's like, yeah.
If he's on your team,
and
you love
exactly.
it.
So I have to assume his teammate. Now, there are probably some teammates who are a little bit more diplomatic and understand like public perception. We're like, dude, seriously.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, but
Fuck you, ninja
apparently in the
bitch.
clubhouse, the issues a lot of the, especially the big dogs have, like on the Dodgers, especially if they were to sign him, is he has a camera crew.
Yeah.
And so he got offered contracts, but he wanted a camera crew with him at all times. So you have guys like Freddie Freeman like, no, dude. In our dugout, in
Like
the locker
family
room?
men. Yeah. They're like, come on, man.
Like, man, get the fuck out of here.
nobody
We
wants
got
that
enough
shit.
attention. Yeah.
Okay, so shout out to Sanaz. She sent me some current events as well. This is an Indian tourist getting attacked by a tiger in
Thai tourist.
Thailand.
Yo.
Sorry. No, Indian
Isn't it?
tourist
Oh, it's an
in
Indian
Thailand.
tourist? Oh,
Yo.
yeah.
Why does it always happen out there?
I wouldn't do this.
It'll refresh itself.
He was fine though. He ended up being fine. But also, don't scream like that. You're making it worse.
Dude,
There it
fuck
is.
you, Brian. If you had that tiger attack you, you would scream like a bitch. And so would I.
You're right.
It would fucking hurt.
Yeah, but I tend to be really calm and I'd just be like this. I'd grab it like this and just pull it into
Anyway.
me. If it was wearing a gi,
But why, is that guy walking with the tiger?
He was trying to take a picture.
yeah.
with
So in Thailand, they'll let you walk a tiger.
That's what you get.
Yeah, and then you kneel down for a picture because you're a retard.
That's how it goes.
So one of the things they say with tigers is if you're working with them, don't fall in front of them. If you fall in front of them, their instinct will take over.
No, don't get close to him.
Why?
And some tigers you can get in the cage with, and some tigers you can never get in
Look,
the cage
I'm not Bear Grylls. I grew up in a suburban, urban environment. Like, what is it with these people? I don't know if social media, like
I
these
don't
people who
understand.
are like petting
Dude,
bulls. I'm like, what are you doing?
I've been on set. I've been on
How many
plenty of
Asian
sets.
people been hit by buffaloes trying to do the peace selfie?
Dude, I've been on plenty of sets
Am I right,
in
Chin?
Hollywood.
It's so true though. It's so
Always
true.
like,
Chin's lost so many cousins. It's,
In Hollywood, you'll be there, and all of a sudden they're shooting some commercial, and there'll be a lion there. And I remember they took the lion out of the cage, and all the actors I was with were down there this close to the lion, and I was upstairs, like at the door, so I could run in the door because that lion doesn't give a fuck about his trainer. If that lion says, I don't like it today, and I'm going to eat that
You're
guy,
dead.
Well,
you're dead.
remember
and
when we were
chimps?
shooting-
When they had chimps, they brought a bunch of chimps for this commercial. I'll never forget it. The guy was saying, stay back, stay over there, all the way over there, get over there to people like that. And the chimps were 200 yards away, and they were all being led. They were all walking like this, into the thing, and they were like this. I think they were all chained up together. And he was like, back there, back over that way. They didn't take any.
well, remember the
fucking chance.
baboon in Fire Kid 3D? He was like, he's fine. Just don't look him in the eyes. You're
Oh,
like, what
fucking,
the
that was
fuck?
great. Yeah.
And then if the staff wanted pictures with him and with women, he just grabbed this one woman's titty, just like boom, and
Yeah.
you see his boner come out. And then she's like, okay, and she tries leaving. He strong arms her. And he's like, all right, I'll take it from here. And you're like, oh, this could go south
With huge
whenever.
baboon teeth.
Huge.
anything. You know how we were talking about how silly it is, the guys that I don't need to drink because I see red? I will admit, I'm that guy with animals.
Yeah.
But because I was like, all the way up to, once you start getting to lion, tiger, of course, I'm like, what are we doing? Bear. I'm not beating a bear. But a coyote, unless it's 10 of them, like I could take a coyote. If I get its back, it's fucked. because I've choked out my goats and sheep enough. I think I get to anything simian. You're done. There's no. You don't stand.
You could probably beat up a baboon. Ultimately, you'd get all ripped up.
I saw a chimpanzee video. Now, granted, chimps is this whole. I saw a video of a chimp from like the 20s, and all these dudes were in like suits and smoking pipes. So it was like the 20s in black and white, and he was pulling a train by a rope, one-handed.
Yeah, you're not fucking.
And these guys are going, "Oh, look at this!"
Well, they strapped at the Bronx Zoo. They strapped a female chimp into a chair, and they had her pull for mangoes. And it was some insane. She was just like pulling some crazy amount, more than any man could. She was just like.
Did you ever watch Chimp Crazy?
No.
Oh. That's a good watch.
What I did watch was
bitch giving him fast food and basically he's my best friend.
But I know the ending.
I kept going. All right, if he's your best friend, go in the cage.
And then she did.
She did.
I know the ending. That's why I'm saying I don't want to see that. I know what happens, and it's like those 9/11 movies that came out in like 2004 with the Nick Cage and the Flight 240. Whatever. I was like, I don't want to see that. I'm good. I know the ending. I did see the documentary. I think Werner Herzog did it about Tippi Hedren, about Melanie Griffith's parents. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Crazy shit ever.
I think it's called
you
Roar.
You mean it's called Roar, and you mean when he was living with? Oh, he was living with 50 tigers and leopards.
Oh, Shab.
Maybe more.
I thought you said parrots.
Shab. No, but Melanie Griffith. You know the actress Melanie Griffith? When she was like 9.
People were getting bit.
Listen to me.
Fucked up.
Not in Zimbabwe. In Laurel Canyon.
No way.
Dude, it's insanity.
It was more than
why?
fucking. No,
Oh, come on,
It was
dude.
more than 50. It was more than 50. Not a good puncher.
I'm taking that.
It was more than. Now those teeth is gonna do a number on.
One. Do you know how easy I could head kick him? At that height with that head?
Yeah.
You'll see it here at some point.
But I don't want to. He's so cute. He's so nice.
Here, look at this.
Oh, that was kind of gangster.
kinda crazy.
That was pretty sick.
He's so cute.
That was the Edson Barbosa to Terry Edom right there.
Yeah. He's actually.
Hey, but also what a waste of time.
Yeah. So what are we doing here?
That Chim's like
That's like Elvis's karate. You know, where you're like, what are we doing, guys? Come
But
on.
also, hey Chimp, just do Chimp shit. You don't need to learn to fight.
Yeah, let's hang out.
Yeah,
Let's just
hang-
party.
be chill, dude. But why in Laurel Canyon did they have all those animals? Just because?
Because there was a time up until pretty recently, probably like the 80s, where if you were good, successful in Hollywood, you could be fucking insane.
Yeah, I love it.
Utterly
Love it.
insane.
But I'm saying they had over 130 cats. It was bring up Roar, and you should see it.
Roar
so they're
documentary,
shooting
yeah.
every day with these huge lions and tigers and leopards, and people are getting fucked up. Like the crew is getting bit and torn up, and it was unbelievable.
Good at images,
What
Jim.
and what a moron! These cats were somehow they were like, all right, this is real. That's real. That's all real.
Yeah, Melanie Griffith was like a kid.
Yeah,
Like
and
a
they kept trying to shoot it. But you see, wait, go there to the left. See all those lions? That's real. That's real right there.
They're probably taking shits and stuff.
In a
like that?
room.
That's like above Sunset Boulevard. Again, Brandon. We're not talking Zaire. We're not talking
Yeah, it's Laurel
Ghana.
Canyon.
Yeah.
That's actually real, and that's the craziest thing.
Oh,
about
Jesus
that.
Christ. I feel so bad for those animals. It's just such a bad situation. Oh, God.
So dumb.
That's just bored white people.
You know what, though?
Well, they think that the lions are safe. That's
There was a
what's so-
certain level of crazy in Hollywood. Because, like, if you hear the stories of, like, Judy Garland's life as a child, like
Wow.
what men did to her, it's like,
Oh, it's horrible.
okay, that's. But then there was a certain level of awesome crazy in Hollywood that cell phones, cameras have ruined.
Agree.
I'm going to say 1986. I'm at the Laker game, and at the Forum, but before the Staples Center, in this Forum in Inglewood, there was an underground concession stand and bathroom. And it was kind of off the beaten path, but it was like where the locker room guys would enter from the locker room, the Laker girls would come in. So you go down there, you go to the bathroom, and it was kind of cool. It was kind of like, felt like you weren't supposed to be there. I'm going pee. My cousin Chris is with me. He's probably 6 years older than me. So he was probably a teenager at the time. I was like 7. We're at the urinals going pee. And I zip up my pants and I turn around and Sean Penn and Jack Nicholson come out of the same stall.
Whoa.
It's
and I'm
called
like,
cocaine.
why were, and I literally,
butt fuck.
No, they were.
no, they were doing,
blow.
it was
You
1986
know, for
at the
sure.
Forum.
Yeah.
And then they had the look.
Yeah.
You know? And they can't, but you understand stars of that caliber Nowadays, they're like, everyone's filming. We have to go to our own private party.
Yeah.
They were brazen. Okay.
It ruined celebrity.
So I turned, and before I could say words, my cousin, again, who's like 16, he goes, shh. And we get out of the bathroom. And I was like, why are he's like, they were doing cocaine and they were doing drugs. I was like, really? No way.
Have you seen what Sean Penn looks like now?
He's Jack Wrinkled Man, right?
know, I mean-
Isn't he shredded, but all like his face?
He was on Rogan.
His face is a ball sack.
I mean,
Sean Penn was on Rogan?
Yeah.
was he when?
That's not real.
That is real, Bubba. That's 100% real.
I hate it. I hate because
It's a lot of smoking and it's a lot
He does
of...
not seem likable. He seems very hard to like, but at the same
the
time,
reason El Chapo got caught.
he's never been on screen, and I've seen him, and I'm not gone. God, he's fucking great.
He's
so
the
good.
best.
Fucking great.
I love him as an actor, but he's a hard drinking, hard drugging, hard smoking
Remember
guy.
when he flew to Ukraine and was in the war gear?
Remember when he went to hang out with El Chapo?
He got caught for that reason. One of the reasons.
I'll tell you what, I met him once and he was so fucking nice and cool,
Really?
though.
I met him once, and he was he had a cane to get around. It's when he was Charlize Theron. I was at a party, and I'm like,
Did he have
who
an
the fuck?
injury or
I'm like,
surgery?
who's the old guy? I don't know. He's just old. We had a cane and was like barely walking.
Isn't it weird when you hear when a lot of people talk about how someone is this or that, and you have an experience with them, and that it's not the case?
Oh,
is
no.
it weird? Like I had a Kevin Spacey experience, and
He grabbed you?
this is before the controversy.
What happened?
My wife was in a play, and he came to see someone else in the play.
Probably a kid.
And a very handsome young man. And he and I were sitting next to each other, and the group of people that we were backstage after that, and we had just started talking. And this is before the controversy, and B, I didn't even know he was gay or anything.
Such a
and he
good
was
actor.
so nice to me. And a friend of friends, we all go out to drinks afterwards, and he was just like kind of like honestly like a very cool guy. A close friend of one of his personal trainers, in fact, told me because we knew each other through meathead bullshit. He's like he wanted to blast your asshole open. And I was like, okay, but either way, he was like a genuinely enjoyable person to be around. He's like because he wanted to blast your asshole. I was like, all right, fine.
He wanted to suck the skin off your dick, Mike.
He knew I was there to see my wife. I don't know. Maybe he
doesn't give a fuck. It's Kevin Spacey from Seven, dude.
He's pretty sick too. He's pretty sick on screen. Like he's pretty
actor.
Amazing.
I want him back on fucking.
Me too.
I want him back on camera.
He's paid his dues. Get him out there.
Think? But they don't.
Bro.
I don't like how all controversial people get thrown into the same category as like Cosby. And I'm like, really? Like
Cosby's still touring?
No.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I can't believe he's still alive.
You can get tickets right now.
Really?
He tours nonstop. That motherfucker sells tickets.
I'd go see Bill Cosby just for the curiosity.
The black community.
You can't see him. You can't see. I don't think so.
I'd literally go to that just for the curiosity of like the people that show up, what his jokes are now.
Not right now, but 2023 apparently.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I got promos on Sirius for Bill Cosby's show.
Oh my God.
I was listening to the rap channel, but whatever.
You want to come see the show? I'm going to make you some cappuccino and come on your face.
Damn,
it's going to be great.
It's good.
And he's in court going and he's like, hey.
Yeah. He was actually a bad guy. Yeah, he's one of the ones.
Race.
Insanity, right?
Yeah, but by the time they caught him, he has one eye. We've been over this. Looks like a burnt turtle. One eye, and it's like he got away with it. Basically.
How old is he now?
He did.
He's 80. Has all the riches.
85? 87.
So he lived 60 years of ultimate fame and wealth, and he's going to live 3 or 4 years as a bad guy. He's like, I got it.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah. Well, he almost went to jail. He was in jail, right, for a while.
Yeah. Weinstein's going to die in jail. Weinstein
will die in jail. He was a total scumbag.
Yeah, Bill Cosby's free, man, roaming around.
Wow.
Do you think?
Wow.
This is dicey.
No, go ahead.
Do you think Bill Cosby, in comparison to other celebrity men who have done probably not
Similar?
as bad as, even accused of as bad as stuff as they have paid a bigger price? Do you think this is a similar to O.J. Simpson situation where Rodney King happened a couple years prior, and I was living in L.A. as a young man,
OJ got
and O.J. got it because the LA riots, when they said that the cops that were accused of harming Rodney King, when they said not guilty, the city
on fire
exploded, proverbially and literally, and it was so scary. And it was so overwhelming. They were like, not gonna. Do you think like
they're probably like, is this one guy really worth blowing up the city for?
Well, you could say that about Derek Chauvin. There was no way that they were going to find Derek Chauvin not guilty of homicide when the whole country had made up its mind. But in fact, if you actually look at the actual evidence, he didn't kill George Floyd.
No. It was an OD. It was an OD.
Yeah, and so it was an OD. And so now there's this real movement to get him out because it's like he's rotting in jail because even his police practices, that this putting his knee on someone's
they currently
neck,
do still do
they
that.
They still do that because it's a police technique.
They all do.
And so what he was doing was practicing, but that wasn't relevant. It was like during the Black Lives Matters march. If you were to say you guys aren't wearing masks and spreading COVID in your marches, you would never have won that. You would have gotten crushed for that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the mainstream media has and continues to lose its credibility and should because they just can't be objective. And the woke mind virus they were all infected by the insanity of it. And the Washington Post saying the mysterious drop in fentanyl and not even being able to give Trump credit, even though you might hate him, there's plenty to criticize, but you got to give credit where it's credit's due. Otherwise you're lying. Otherwise you're just being deceptive again. And we all see through it. And they did it with Rogan, with CNN and the horse warming pill. He took 1,000 things. He talked about it.
Right.
If you listen to him, there was the only other thing he took ivermectin, but he took monoclonal antibodies. He took a Z-Pack. He took everything. He was like a huge shout out to Western medicine. That's what he said. And it was the ivermectin that got him in trouble.
Well, and also like the one that bothered me is like, can you believe this is a guy who takes horse dewormer? And I was like, well, fair, it is a horse dewormer, but that's like saying, can you believe they play a sport where they hit a racket against a dog chew toy? And I was like, it's also a dog chew toy, but it is a ball designed for, you know what I'm saying? Like ivermectin can be used in that way, but it's also a Nobel Prize winning
That's a great analogy.
medication for humans.
I think we should wrap this up. I think
we can wrap it up
with AC popping.
But one thing that Sanaz sent that I'm curious, because you guys all work out into fitness. What do you think the world record is? Just a ballpark of the most push-ups someone can do
in a day,
non-stop,
24 hours,
not with no unbroken,
non-stop.
I'm going to say 1,000.
Well, more than that.
Brian.
It's way more than that. I'll say 10,000.
What?
10,000?
No way, 10,000. I'm going to say your shoulders couldn't even. I'm going to say 2,000.
Brendan's right.
Oh my God!
So apparently it hasn't been broken since 1980. 10,507.
What?
Without stopping.
Holy shit! How long did that take?
No idea.
Those last 8,000.
That happened was done in 1980.
That had to be like a day.
Done in 1980.
That had to be a day over 24.
24 hours.
Oh, yes, it says 24 hours. So
so he did stop.
10,507 and 20.
He did stop.
The guy just
it says without stopping.
No,
without stopping.
Yeah.
Because the guy just did the pull-up record, which is tougher than push-ups. And he did 24 hours.
Like this.
Pull up. Chin up.
That's the chin up.
Yeah.
He did a pull-up like this.
Oh my God.
He just set the record.
That's fucking nuts.
That's so Japanese.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I'm saying? Where they're like,
Yeah.
Is there video of it though?
Minoru Yoshida. It's in 1980, so I can try to find it.
Japan, I love Japan and Japanese culture, and I have for but Japanese are very. I had a bone to pick with you because they are so sophisticated and they're so above us in the West that they don't even show genitals in their porn. They pixelate their porn. I'm on one of the tube sites, and I go to a Japanese thing, and it's literally like just like you could see pixelated bush, but. The next video is a girl putting 7 eels in her asshole and then eating diarrhea. And I'm like, wait, how do we? What the fuck? What do we do here?
Texas, you can't watch porn.
You can, but you can't do.
You have to have a VPN.
Porn. You can't do Pornhub. You can't. You have to have a. It's like there's like 2 or 3 sites you can't do.
Really?
The major ones, yeah.
Like Pornhub and all that stuff.
I go
major ones you can't.
I go to a couple different.
Or you have to have a VPN.
A VPN, you can watch whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
VPN, you're like 2 girls, 1 cup on
Yeah,
HD.
What's VPN? I gotta.
Oh wow, it's
Virtual
too much. You're too
private
old.
network. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Do you have
that's
anything
it.
to plug, Mike?
Just Brian's ass.
All right.
Yeah. There you go.
Oh yeah.
If you're interested, I think I'm still doing a podcast. I don't know. It's hard. I don't get, but my Patreon is there. I have a lot of things in the oven. Hopefully, I'll talk about it off the air with you guys. One is like, it's the thing. It'd be the fighter and the kid of my life, and then it would change my whole thing. So let's all cross my fingers.
I got
vibes.
off limits. I got Carrot Top that just dropped yesterday. So
Nice.
check it out.
Nice. He's
Yeah,
fun.
he was funny as shit. Such a cool guy.
I love him.
Carrot Top crushed on Kill Tony too. So he was in town. And I got him on the podcast. It was fucking great.
Fan of Crushing the Poon too, and he's very open about it.
Yeah.
He's a fan. Oh yeah, he's like, I'll get 6 girls at a time, and
Yeah.
It's good.
I'm very rich, and I live in Vegas, and that's
Good,
what I do.
yeah,
And I'm like,
professionals.
Like,
yes,
Yes.
support that.
he's
Is that
awesome.
it, Chin?
That's it.
All right, dudes. This is the Firing Kid. We're out.